Your lips are stained with fiction. You always have your reasons, and I smell you rotten. Your hands are sealed in pockets. You fill them with your secrets. To you, I am nothing. I am. Your kiss, sweet like poison. You know you make me reckless. I'll run, but you are friction. Your touch feels like heaven. You make me hate all my sins. You are my religion. My religion. I have a million reasons to leave you, but I have a billion reasons to keep you. I have a million reasons to leave you, but I have a billion reasons to keep you.
rushes water through the drain. Stars were dancing in their light, paths that we could never write. Oh, they were dancing way up high. We built these walls so we could find who could prove themselves through the waves of time. We're trying to repent before you sin. It's like giving up before you begin. Stars were dancing in their light, paths that we could never run. Oh, they were dancing way up high. Stars were dancing in their light, the future we will never run. Dirt on our feet was bone dry, it was bone dry. Thought another goal is all we needed. Taking second chances till we bleed. And when all the love had been depleted, we had but no choice to concede. As the stars were dancing in their light, paths that we could never run. Oh, they were dancing way up high. Stars were dancing in their light, the future we will never run. Dirt on our feet was bone dry, it was bone dry.
Would you lie across the sand? Many miles I took to make it. Time isn't left to try. Where do we run? Where do we run? Where do we
And welcome back to the Kickoff. We are here on day 2 of Qualifiers for Asia, presented you by APL and funded, of course, by Psyonix. So huge thanks to them. I'm here again with Max Formal, the man, the one, the only, the fridge legend. He's here with me today, and how we going, man?
Yeah, no, I'm actually doing pretty well. Pretty keen to get into this one. Obviously, last week it was an absolute blast to see those first 3 teams qualify, join the initial 2 that was invited, and today we've got 3 more spots to really fill out what's going to be an amazing weekend next week.
Yeah, it's really, really exciting. Next week, of course, being our finals for the kickoff, fighting for that $44,500 prize pool across Asia and the Middle East. So big weekend for Asia, and you definitely should be tuning in for that. But first up, before we do that, we have our qualifiers today. Our first 2 spots, first 2 teams looking to earn their spot are 1&E Esports versus Era Gaming. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. 1&E didn't have so much luck in their previous in the previous weekend. They did make it all the way to the finals and ended it with a reverse sweep against them. So they're here trying to earn that back today, and a lot on the line for them.
Yeah, well, I mean, fortunately for them, they do have 2 chances for themselves. Obviously, they would like to make it through on this initial chance against ERA, who also made quite a deep run last week as well. I believe they got knocked out in the losers' quarters, actually, 2-1-E, if my memory serves me right. But my memory's been a little spotty, so I could be wrong on that one. But what I do definitely remember was that 1-E reverse sweep. I don't know what it is with this team. They just feel more cursed than anyone else, or more realistically, they just struggle to finish out series sometimes. I think I've seen them reverse swept more so than any other team, especially within this Asian region. So another opportunity for them right now. I do think that today will be their day. In fact, I think this will be their series. I don't see that reverse sweep coming, but it's 1-E. You never know until they win that series.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a question mark. But on the other side, we have Era, which is Easel, Balearies, and Bunny Dummy. And they didn't do so well last week, but they have historically been a very good team. Easel and Balearies particularly together. Bunny Dummy a little bit new to the setup, but did show that he had some skills last week, even if they weren't able to take out a win on that. Should be an interesting setup up against 1&E with Misty, Gon, and Revoir. Probably, yes, I'm seeing in-game naming himself Rapupi once again. It is his preferred name in-game, I'm finding these days.
Yeah, but going back to ERA real quick before we get into it, I'm really excited to see how they perform today, because when you look at this lineup, obviously the big name, or at least the big name to me, is Balearies, however you would like to pronounce it. But it was Bunny Dummy who stood out more so than even, their more known players, I felt, last week. So Bunny Dummy is, again, I'm glad you brought him up, because he is definitely going to be the player I'm watching out for to see if we can see more consistent performances from him. Again, even if they lose this series, I want to see this team emerge. I want to see this team grow. And if they're able to pull off this upset right now and actually advance, I think it would be huge for this lineup.
Yeah, and watching Bunny Dummy is going to be interesting as well, because he is the question mark on the Era team. 1&E Esports has a little bit of a question mark behind them every game, but Era, we already know that Balearies and Easel can perform really well as a team. If Bunny Dummy meets that and fits into the roster really well, they could really have a good game on their hands here. So, going to be an interesting one, and we'll get them in and ready to play very, very shortly.
Yeah, I'm excited to kick this one off. It looks like players are, well, they're around. We'll soon be getting going in this, kicking this bad boy off. Again, all the matches you see today will be best of 5s. This match, as well as the last match we'll be streaming, will be the ones that determine who actually gets in. But if you're curious what else is going on, there is a secondary stream. I always get his name pronounced incorrectly, so I'm going to let you take over from here. But if you like Japanese streams as well, I mean, there's more hype over there. I will straight up say, like, Kokken, is it?
Yeah, Kokken.
Yeah,
Kokken,
he is.
And I'm not sure who the second streamer is over there, actually. I haven't been paying.
Well, I know
attention,
Kokken is absolutely crazy. So it's like Twitch TV Kokken. You can check out that secondary stream. It's in Japanese, but I don't know. That could be a bit more authentic, because a lot of Japanese teams are qualifying.
Yeah, we currently have two non-Japanese teams locked in for our finals, but there is a huge chance of the rest of these teams coming in strong as Japanese because they are just representing so well right now.
I mean, more reason why you might want to be supporting ERA, I suppose, for that or ERA, for that variety. They are not a Japanese team, unlike 1NE, which is a Japanese team. So you do get a bit of that Japan versus the rest of Asia as well in this upcoming matchup. I think it's a bit of fun. I mean, I don't know. I had a discussion. Who was it with? I forget who was with before it, but I had a discussion. I was saying, Japan in and of itself can almost become its own region at this stage just because of the sheer amount of talent coming out of that country and always sending to perform in these larger scale events. So I'm excited to see who else from that country can make it through. And I'm also excited to see who can really challenge on some of these Japanese giant teams. And again, it's what makes this series so interesting.
I do see why you would think 1NE is a Japanese team, but I will have to correct you on that one. I apologize.
Oh, no.
Misty is Indian. Gon and Revoir, I believe, are both Indonesian. So no Japanese players there.
You tricked me. You tricked me.
The
All right,
old,
bring on the flame.
You may be confusing it with the old one in Glory Stone, which Glory Stone was one of the powerhouse in Asia for a long, long time, and held a spot there, and they were all Japanese. So that was a big team. But we are still waiting on one player left. Revoir gone to grab another car, I believe, and is yet to come back to the game.
I like how I'm trying to throw the blame elsewhere, but no, that's entirely on me. It's late. It's late. It's been a late day. That's my fault. I don't know, man. I'm that excited for the Rocket League. You said, okay, I got thrown off because you said, oh, all the other teams might be Japanese. I'm like, okay, cool, but no, a guaranteed non-Japanese team is about to qualify.
Yes.
I should have
one
known
team
better.
Guaranteed. Yep, correct.
I should have known better. Shame on me. Anyways, we are soon going to be jumping in this. The players are kind of doing that log in dance while we wait for the okay. I know I am keen for this. Look, I'm much more comfortable calling action on the pitch, not off it. I mean, for all I know, all these players could just be from anywhere. You see all those flags in the stadium when you come into Mansfield, which is where we're going to be playing. And yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a Jamaican team taking on a Portuguese team, taking on a South African team. I think that would be fun.
But that is the beauty of being here in Asia. It is a melting pot of cultures, and a lot of countries getting involved in this right now. Being that this is the first Asian tournament that Psyonix has picked up on and really put some money behind and given some faith to. It's great to see so many countries getting involved, and really happy to see that. Yeah, definitely, it's not just Japan in this now.
Absolutely, and I just want to see more and more teams get involved in the future as well. Let's see this league grow. I'm hoping that this kickoff, being the kickoff, is actually a kickoff for more events within this region and in the Middle East in the future, because the sooner Rocket League can get on that global scale, similar to that other league game, the one full of legends, it would be absolutely phenomenal. And I love seeing things like this. And again, RLCS Season 10 around the corner, the fact that they are sort of shortening into one big global Worlds event, but with those smaller tournaments on the way, I think it's going to be fantastic to watch for the scene. And I'm really hoping soon Asia can get a slice of that pie and get involved in it soon. I think it's in the future, if not this year, then next. Fingers crossed, who knows, even something crazy can happen this year, but I'm getting ready to kick this series off right now.
Yes, we have our players in now and getting ready for this match, starting it very shortly, and keep your eyes glued to the screen because we're going to have some fantastic matches just ahead of us.
I believe we're about 3 or so seconds away, I would like to say, but realistically, probably about 30 seconds or so away. Shout out to Misty right now for getting people to hurry things up. If you want to know who's going to be the one pushing to get this game started as soon as possible, I'm not being sarcastic. It actually was Misty. So hopefully with that motivation, we can kick this off. Misty, I'm hoping to see big things from this player today. Obviously on 1NE, one of the key components to this team's success is when Misty starts to perform very well. So on the same sign where I'm going to be looking at Bunny Dummy, I'm going to be looking at Misty in this upcoming series.
And I did mention Glorystone already, but Misty being the only remaining member and the only non-Japanese member of Glorystone now coming into the main roster for 1&E now, we can send them in. And yeah, Misty is definitely one to watch because he has some fantastic mechanics behind him, and he's just got the history in the game. So we're just gonna, I'm really interested to see how Bunny Dummy works in this team if Ira is on their game tonight.
As will I be. That said, we are kicking this match off. We are on the pitch one more time. It is 1&E in blue taking on ERA or Era in orange. Trust me, I finally got something right. Those are those team colors. I can tell because 1&E is one of Rapupi right there, but it is actually Gone who gets the first banging clear.
Gone, taking that to backboard. Not able to get it there, actually. Batted away by the defense. Misty now, coming off ceiling, gets another touch at 50 as well. Backboard now, Revoir. Gonna send that out for Gone. There's a shot and blocked very well by Bunny Dummy. It was a double commit on that, though.
It was a double commit, but that's okay. The shots are on target, and 1&E is looking to set a very fast pace to start us off. A little bit too fast, as Misty accidentally kind of overshot the ball in that instant. Good pass to Rapupi, but Easel's going to go ahead and steal it off. I'm going to try and set up through the corner. Misty can only stop it once. The second stop's going to be a bit more challenging, so Gone steps up. Cheeky little play right there out of Ballaris. It looked like shot knock went on target, but the follow-through is, and Ballaris gets our first goal of the series.
Yeah, Ira pushing up strong for first minute, just down, and Ballaris, nice touch to drop that below the crossbar. It was a tough angle.
It's a very tough angle, but one that was absolutely drilled. And this is the start that Ira is looking for again. You'd have to think they're the team trying to play for that upset right now. It would be huge for this roster to qualify, especially over the likes of 1&E. And they're off to that great start. Obviously, a best of 5 does mean, you know, a lot is still to come. But when you consider the fact that 1&E is typically a team that has a hot start and then tends to cool off later in the series, I think setting that early tempo and getting that initial goal is monumental for the Orange side. And
for almost the entire time you've been talking, it's been pressure from Ira as well. They really want this, and they're not giving too much room to 1&E to think about what they're doing, which was an error that a team made last weekend against 1&E, and you don't want to give a team a very high caliber too much room to think, and it's not happening here, and it's working out very well for Ira. Good pressure.
Yeah, I'm glad you're bringing that up because it is a common criticism I sometimes have for this region is that teams, they play too defensively, they rotate a bit too deep, and they don't actually put enough pressure or challenges, especially when attacking. They kind of leave avenues open for big defensive clears, and then you get sort of these long, sweeping counterattack type games, but that doesn't look to be in ERA's playbook today. When they are on attack, they are well and truly on attack, and they are trying to give 1&E next to no breathing room, but you can see 1&E, they're returning the favor right now. Again, it's just so quick. These rotations are so tight. Eventually something might crack either on the offense or the defense, and I actually expect to see some pretty crazy counterattack goals if this pace continues.
Gone with a risky commit there. Nothing bad comes of it yet, but now pressure again on from ERA. Misty gonna send that up wall and chase it to the ceiling. Comes off. Gone is up for a shot. It's nice placement, but Revoir is gonna have to try and clean that up. Can't get it past Easel. Now the counterattack. Bunny Dummy gonna try and set this up. Going up for the backboard touch. Does get it off the backboard. Valerius is there. Good touch, and what a save by Misty.
Yeah, that was a very critical save on not a lot of boost right there. Misty coming up huge, and it opens the door for a counterattack. Good patient defense from Bunny Dummy, though, will stop it. At the moment now, as you can see, we have those boost meters up, and you can sort of track how well these players are using it. And I have to admit, I am surprised at how well ERA has actually been doing at conserving their boost. I feel like they've been controlling this very important resource at a much higher level right now than 1&E, and I kind of feel that has contributed then some to this massive tempo advantage that this Orange side seems to have.
Gone now, has to make a save. He doesn't get the touch he needs. Revoir does get a touch. Damn close. Bunny Dummy just unable to put that away. Defenders just seem to be trickling in barely in time for 1&E.
Easel gonna go for a setup as well off of the wall. Ballaries thought about it, decided against it. Rapubi was there waiting to body block, really had that shot gone through. Gone in return, can't quite get it onto that backboard. A good touch from Easel, but a better pass coming out of 1NE. It was set up for Misty to take the shot, but it looked like he just lost control at the last moment. Gone though, still keeping the pressure there. Fantastic little play by Easel, but it is stopped by Misty, who again is going to be trying to set it up for Gone. Ballaries through that corner as well, and this corner play so critical. Bunny Dummy nearly gets a cheeky intercept, but instead Gone will shut down that play. Easel finally pushes it through.
Misty gonna send this out. Tries to reach Revoir, not gonna get there in time. Baleari's up fast, Gone now, looking for that 1v1 play, gets it to Revoir, and there's a very, good chance at a goal. Absolutely wasted by Gone and Misty.
Yeah, Easel did a fantastic job right there on defense. That was monumental. And now we're seeing one of these quick counterattacks. That said, with only 3 seconds left in the game, it might not matter much. What's more important is getting that ball onto the ground. Gone saying not yet, but that's okay. Eventually it drops. And ERA, the era, taking game number 1.
Yeah, and even though it was only a one-up victory, it was fairly confident looking. They had so much aggression, and their defense was not scattered at all. It was really well thought out, and at no point did 1NE look like they were going to really smash anything past them. There was no panic on Era's side, so really well done by them.
Yeah, this team is looking very confident right now, and 10 shots to 7 kind of tells a story in that. More opportunities just created by ERA. They got their first goal pretty early, but by keeping that constant offensive pressure, 1NE, I feel like they didn't take the best advantage of those limited opportunities that were then presented to them. Now, whether or not ERA is going to be able to sort of keep this tempo, keep this offensive pressure, that is something to be seen. Yeah, although considering 1NE, I mentioned this before, they tend to have hot starts and then kind of get slower as the series progresses. Seeing them have a slow start is very unusual to me, and I'm worried about where they might be at mentally right now.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how that mental game does play into this, and particularly in the Asian region, the mentality does seem to come into this fairly strong, but right now, Gone on backboard, can't quite get it out as a pass, and there's already a counterattack on for Era.
Yeah, that counterattack, though, will be short-lived as Rapupi is able to dribble it all the way down the pitch, and you have Misty with his back. Shot's going to be on target. Gone punches it in, and 1NE gets that opening goal in just 21 seconds.
A little bit of an error on Era's side here. Easel just doesn't quite get the touch he was looking for. 2 players there able to really go for that, and nobody could clear it away before it just snuck that little bit in front of goal and was taken away by Gone.
You could say Easel had the bad touch, but it was actually Bunny Dummy who had the opportunity for the big sweeping clear and just completely whipped it. Kind of put Easel in a bad spot. Gone, meanwhile, has found another in the exact same spot of the goal over the exact same player.
Although you have to give Revoir some credit there, coming off that backboard and just dribbling it down to his teammate, a handoff pass, and works out really nicely.
Yeah, that was a beautiful little situation right there. And now this is the 1NE I was expecting to see. Punishing those little mistakes, especially when on attack, being able to find those narrow gaps. And both these teams, they just look so much more comfortable when on the offensive side of the pitch, which is really surprising considering that first game was such a low-scoring affair.
Yeah, absolutely agree, and I expect a lot more aggression out of 1NE this game. I think they've identified that their problem was on attack there. They couldn't keep that up.
Oh,
but,
Misty!
Fantastic read by Misty. Just drops it in front of goal, and he's able to tap that in.
Beautiful read right there. I mean, I don't know how much of that was fortuitous that Easel was going to go ahead and sort of drop it in that position, but being able to make that decision, phenomenal work coming from 1NE's star player.
Bunny Dummy looking for the backboard touch, almost gets it. Gone. Barely got a touch on that if he did at all.
Yeah, that was a very scary situation right there, but one that 1NE is going to be fortunate to survive. Ballaries now going to try and go for a bit of that solo play, and it looked like the team had his back as they were pushing forward. It forces a one-on-one, but Bunny Dummy is able to beat out Rapupi. Misty now going up, but has the ball taken away. Rapupi, awkward touch backwards. Ballaries there to punish, going to try and pinch it back towards the blocks, but can't not quite corral that ball in this instance.
Rupupi doing some really nice work just to maintain ball control here. Gone now, missing the ball. Misty is back with it. He's got 0 boost, picking up a pad, but he's not going to be able to take that on ceiling.
Not going to be able to take that in this instance. Rupupi, however, will, and is again trying to take it across the middle of the pitch. Caught at the moment, but Misty is already there. Pass back to Gone. This could be dangerous. Had the defense not been there, ready to make that read. Bunny Dummy with the challenge, and again, it's going to play it off of the backboard. Demo coming through. It's Easel onto Rupupi, so 2v3 attack at the moment, yet the attack does press on.
Gone now. Can't follow that up, but Misty can. Great shot. Bunny Dummy with a miracle save coming down from the ceiling on that. Just dropped like a stone on that ball to just put it barely away from goal.
What was more fortuitous was the fact that there was no one behind him able to punch it in, and no, the double commit! It still works out. Okay, breathe that sigh of relief. And he still get the goal, but that looked shady.
Yeah, really didn't think this was going to work out. Bunny Dummy was in the right position. He lost his momentum, started actually going backwards and couldn't get forwards to get just behind that ball enough to redirect it out of goal.
This is such a sloppy game right now. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Some of these touches are very awkward and not what you want to see, yet at the same time, 1NE, they seem to be thriving in this chaos right now as Rupupi doesn't have a good read, has to fall back. Again, doesn't get punished for it, all right. Going to go ahead and steal that dribble away from the teammate. All well and good, you're able to push it down to the other end of the pitch, but now you're unable to sustain that attack. And it's sort of weird plays like this that have almost been plaguing 1NE, yet I guess it's that over-eagerness, that ball-chasing gene that's also giving them that aggressive edge.
Yeah, and they do thrive, as you were saying, in attack. So, you know, as much as it can come back to bite them, it does work out at times. So Valeri is now able to get it past one. Revoir, big pass up to Misty. Gonna take a shot barely off top right corner. That would have been an amazing goal.
I think what 1NE was trying to teach us and tell us right now is you can't get reverse swept if you lose game one. Misty going for the double touch, isn't able to take it. Gone is there. 5-0 for 1NE.
Absolutely true, and this is a very different scoreline from game one. I mean, not only is 1NE in the lead, there's 5 goals on the board instead of 1, so a lot more aggression coming out from that 1NE team, and they're using it well, opening up opportunities and scoring off of them.
Yeah, and these were sort of those opportunities that they were missing on in game number one. This is what happens when they start to connect on them. You get that confidence going on top of everything else, and that score just starts to ride and grow and get better and better. Passing it now, setting up great pinches from mid-pitch. Obviously, that one didn't hit the goal, but you're starting to see a much more confident 1NE team now. We've been kind of burned by this side in the past, so it's not like, all right, series one. In fact, all what they're doing is equalizing the series at this stage, but this is the 1NE that wins games, and Rupupi, he's just going to keep adding to that score at this stage. 6-0 for the blue side.
That's beautiful play by Revoir here. He read the situation perfectly, knew he only had one to beat. He has the 1v1 skills to do that and just wanted to show him off. 6-0.
6-0 and climbing, it feels like. Very unfortunate turn of events for the ERA fans out there right now, but I've said this, another one of my broken record points at this stage. It's easier to bounce back from a blowout like this than it is from a, a 2 or 3 minute overtime. So I'm not counting out either of these squads after this one. If anything, all we've done is sort of equal the pace, and if ERA can find that aggressive edge, like find those sustained offensive attacks that they had back in that first game, well, I think we could be seeing similar results to game number one as well. This series, all what this game has done is made it a lot more interesting.
Interesting is the word, but as you said, you can recover from a huge blowout like this, and at this point, you want to really see ERA just learn from the mistakes they made in this one, or at least formulate a plan against 1NE's very, very strong attack. So they know that 1NE is good on attack, and 1NE that game was able to maintain ball control and push on, have the aggression for the vast majority of that game. If ERA can break that down, they know they have a chance because they did it in game one.
One of the things, though, that ERA is going to have to figure out how to handle is, again, those tight 1NE challenges. And ERA just have to win more 50s on their half of the pitch, or at least be faster off of those rebounds. It felt like time and time again, 1NE was going for very, very aggressive 50s, but then they always had that faster second player to the ball. Era, they were more content to stay back in the corners, more content to just rotate one at a time. 1NE, they were sending 2. They were waiting for that awkward touch and then having a second player kind of burst on through. And a lot of times that gave them that almost more aggressive edge. It's why ERA had such a tough time clearing that ball up and sending their own attacks. I mean, ERA went from 10 shots to 2. If that doesn't tell the difference in tempo from game 1 to 2, I'm not really sure what would.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very, very different story, and we'll have to see if they can continue that run as we head into our game 3. Now, 1-1, anybody can still win this.
Anybody can still take this, absolutely, but this game 3 is going to be quite important because match point is a lot more comfortable than having your back against a wall. Again, considering what is on that line, that trip to the main event. Win this series, you are in. Lose this series, well, you got to win 2 more in a row. It's not even like you go straight to a second chance. You have quite a bit of fighting left to go. Whoa, big demo to start this one off. Rapupi takes out Valoris, and that means more of a 1NE attack.
Gone. A little bit slow on that. I don't know if he was trying to fake that he had no boost, but read well by the opponent's Misty. Gonna drop that back. Valeri's now. Good catch. He's able to take that up the wall and dribble it himself. Gone up to meet him. Misty now. Can't read that. Revoir is, though, and it's a banger of a shot. Just unable to sink that as 2 defenders left dead center of goal. Can make short work of that.
Misty doesn't like the look, too risky of a challenge, but unfortunately he had already pushed that far up for a deep sweeping defense actually coming from Gondo. And 1NE, they're playing a lot further back defensively, I'm noticing already, and that's kind of opened that door for ERA to push forward. We haven't seen him up here in a while. Easel going for that solo play, though, as opposed to a pass, a bit of a pretty much a high risk, high reward situation. Fortunately for ERA, because of that, the rest of the team was able to recover, and now maybe we can see that same sustained attack we saw in game number 1, not if Valoris cheats that far forward.
Revoir, great pass. Gon can't sink it. Misty is going to wait and make sure they have that defense in reserve. Easel now off the backboard. Valerius is going to wait for Gon's touch. Revoir now gets bumped, and Bunny Dummy is in midfield. It's a good pass. Gon gets a little touch on that and screws that up for Bunny Dummy for any chance he might have had.
Yeah, Valoris was the one who nearly was able to sneak that ball in. Good patient defense from 1NE, and once again, they are on that attack, and this is the aspect of the game I was most curious about coming into game 3. How will ERA respond when under the pump, when they start to feel this 1NE rotation through the corner again and again? Well, they're starting to double commit now, and that has me nervous. Rapupi looking to punish. It's a one-on-one situation. Valoris gets the touch, but it's this next one that could be dangerous. Gone back to the box a little bit too slow, and Bunny Dummy was able to save the play.
It's kind of like what you were talking about with a blowout. You can kind of not worry about what happens once you're, 5 goals down. There's not a lot left in it. But when it's so even like this, we're starting to see the first bit of panic I think we've seen out of Era on defense now with these double commits.
It's less panic, but I also feel it's also a bit of eagerness to try and find that avenue for the counter-attack. You can see how aggressive 1NE starts to get, and it seems like with each rotation, they cheat further and further up. And that gets Era thinking, oh, if we just break this line, that's going to be a quick goal in our favor, but we still need to be fast. We still need to be on it. That's what they're looking for, and unfortunately for them, they couldn't find it in that instance. They are having to play a bit more of a defensive style, too, and I don't think that really fits what we saw from them earlier today. I feel like if this 1NE attack continues, or they'll just snipe it from across the entire length of the pitch, making every point I'm making moot and pointless.
Revoir with a fantastic touch from their side of midfield, and there was a defender left, but I couldn't predict that shot, and it looks like Era couldn't either, so that's the first goal. Easel actually able to get the half flip on that and get it back to aggression at the very least.
Oh, that looks like my twos game when I don't expect my partner to cheat. He just bonks me out of the play and then tries to score the ball himself. Bit of a breakdown in communication right there from Era after that goal, and it was Bunny Dummy who was kind of stuck in no man's land. I don't think he had the boost at the time to be able to get up and make that save. A very unfortunate situation because he was trying to read that middle of the pitch play. I think it was just a bit higher than what he was expecting, and now it is a bit more pressure on this ERA side, and we kind of saw in the last game when they started to fall behind, when they started to get desperate, things broke down quickly. They need to maintain that composure despite there only being a minute 20 remaining.
Misty with a useful pinch. Still in aggression here for ERA. A lot of pressure coming out now. That's a good backboard. Misty barely able to 50 that away to the corner. Revoir now sending that out to midfield. Baleares is up. Doesn't win that 50-50 though. Revoir can't quite make the angle. It would have been a goal.
That would have been a beautiful goal had Rapupi been able to recover it in that instance. Misty now going to go up, does beat out Baleares. Bunny dummy in reverse. Easel also doesn't want to get in his way. Hesitation. Fortunately, they do not get punished initially. However, the attack is continuing. Misty into the corner over the top of two. No one wanted to risk that shot, however. 3 players in the box, and 1NE rather play things patiently. This could come back to haunt them. Easel nearly making that cross-pitch solo play.
Yeah, fantastic effort from Era there, but nothing's going away yet. There's a little bit of a miss. Just not enough car control there. And Misty, just a decent shot off wall, and Baleares just can't read it in time and flips into nothing.
Well, he flipped into the ball, actually, and kind of gave it a little bit of an extra push, it looked like. Either way, does not count as an own goal. That ball was going to be going in regardless, at least in my books, but still not a good look, unfortunately, for ERA. As off of the back of that goal, it does look as if 1NE are now going to be 1 game away from getting themselves qualified into the main event, a position we've seen them in before. But this time, they are, well, actually, I shouldn't even say this time. They looked pretty confident last time as well, as Misty gets another one with 2 seconds remaining. We've seen this confidence. We've seen this drive from the side. Will they be able to finish it today?
Baleares had a good chance, but he just wasn't quite fast enough to beat Misty to that, and Misty's aim is good enough to take that shot 9 times out of 10, so really well taken, but you've got to expect that from Era.
You have to expect those types of situations, as Easel going for a cheeky 0-second goal. Misty steals it away. Good pinch, caught by Bunny Dummy. Ball in the air, Gone goes up, he lets it fall, and 1NE take game number 3. And now that vital match point, that vital main event point that you gave him a hard time last week. I feel like today, though, should be their day.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like, it does feel different, doesn't it? The confidence that they've come in with and the unfalteringness of their rotations right now. I mean, 1NE has been known to have bad rotations and to be inconsistent with it at the very least. I'm not seeing any of that in this matchup, and just the confidence coming out here against Era seems to be overwhelming, but I'd really like to see Era come back and formulate some kind of strategy against 1NE.
I mean, you say you haven't seen that from them today, really, but I still go back to last week where they were looking dominant games 1 and 2 of that final match that we got to cast, and then it all fell apart. So it can happen on the flick of a switch. I've said it before, and I'm going to repeat it again. Bob from Bob's Ramen is an absolute slob. Eat your food like a normal person. But more importantly, the Asian region is one of the most, I feel, emotional regions, and momentum plays such a big part. Games and series can just flip on one off play, one misstep, and all of a sudden everything can collapse around you. So going to be a very interesting game number 4.
As you say that, it's interesting. I had a chance to speak with 1NE, and they put a lot of these reverse sweeps. Poopy taking that pass very, very well, putting it left of the defender. Misty, great awareness.
Yeah, that was a wonderful play from Misty. Rapupi just able to drive straight down the center and find that goal. It looked like ERA had no idea what was coming, and 1NE, that goal looked super clean. But what's more important to me is the fact that they still are maintaining that momentum. They're not letting the pressure of the situation get to them, and they're still coming out swinging. That was the goal that was missing from game 3 last week. It was sort of that initial burst, that initial flurry of attack, and if they can keep that going, I think they might have this, and they could be qualifying finally into our main event.
Now some confidence that had gone, but maybe misplaced, dribbling on their side of the field, trying to get that past 3 people, not going to be able to do it. It's now on the backboard, and a lot of pressure on 1NE. Gone now, able to clear out and relieve that pressure for a moment. Misty should read this, but Easel reads him perfectly, and that's going to be first goal for Era.
What a play from Easel. Now, he's been going for these solo plays, it feels like, all series. A lot of times dribbling, sometimes going for tough challenges. Finally, it happens to pay off. That ball was beautifully touched straight into the net. It's good to see that come from Era. I think that's going to help them, but they still need that little bit more, I feel like. Bunny dummy to Easel again. This looks very good, but the shot is not on target. Oh, Easel's going to want that back.
1&E needs to watch their defensive rotations here. It doesn't bite them. Misty able to take that off backboard, but a lot of defenders there for ERA. They have these rotations on lockdown on defense, and they've had to with the onslaught from 1&E so far, but they've got the chance now, and they may be able to use it. Misty now, though, to backboard and pinches across. He can't find a teammate, though.
Yeah, teammates deciding the risk wasn't worth it, but again, if you're not going to commit to the play, you need to rotate back faster, otherwise you lose possession just like this. ERA looking to find that goal. Rapupi doing what he can to challenge. Fortunately, it does look like ERA has backed off for now. Misty, nice delayed touch, but even more red from Bunny Dummy. Easel goes up for the 50, this time winning a ball in the box, gone! Nearly own goaling it, instead makes the save, but they can't stop the second shot from Ballaris, as here comes ERA. They have taken the lead.
Easel with just these great reads, and Belleri's manages to get that shot downward angle under that crossbar, and just can't be read by 1&E. So fantastic work from Era to sneak in front here.
Look, it's not a reverse sweep, but is it happening again? We've seen 1&E lose momentum in these types of games before and struggle to find it back. Shots coming from, I believe that was Rapupi, but defense already there waiting, willing to make that save. If they get it clear right now, it could be huge. Ballaris doesn't quite get the second touch. Easel is there, and he can't put it on target. Another near miss coming from this player.
A lot of opportunities from Era here that are being missed, and they are only up by that 1 point. If it comes back to bite them, they're going to really regret those opportunities not being taken.
But at the same time, they're just banning them again and again. No! Don't go for the fake if the ball's not going to go in. A scary situation, but Eagle is able to recover, and 1&E, they are falling apart at the seams to the extent that ERA, they can miss and still make it look good.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely thought that was going to be another wasted opportunity, but 1&E just broke. Their brains just shut down in that midfield. They had no idea what to do with that ball that just went stagnant right in front of their goals, and if you leave it there, that's what happens.
What I find amazing about what's happening right now is Easel has just been challenging everything and winning so much. He's been playing so aggressive and so fast and furious that it really feels like 1&E are just not expecting him to challenge at these types of situations. You can see right there, he's randomly double committing with his team, but he's still the one who's winning it each and every time. And 1&E just doesn't have an answer for Easel's erratic playstyle.
Yeah, some fortune, but also a lot of skill involved in winning these 50s and these reads. Misty now looking for the aggression. They need to get these 2 points back. Bunny Dummy should be able to clear this out. Revoir to wall. Easel is waiting there though. Pinched up. Easel now taking this high. Gone, can't get a touch. Revoir can though. That's a long shot. Is he gonna get another one? No, Belleri's can put it to backboard. That's a great pass. Oh, very close.
Yeah, they needed to connect on that goal because time is working against them right now. Every opportunity is one they can no longer afford to miss if they want to secure their spot in this fourth game. Rapupi puts a very weak touch. Missy trying to recover, but by committing has put Gon in a very awkward spot. Easel pushes way too far forward, and Gon is able to stop the second attack. Bunny Dummy as well may have pushed too far forward. Here comes Gon, challenge lost out by this blue side. Followed through though, Misty does connect more on the ball. Shot from Gon is going to be setting up Rapupi, who isn't able to recover in time. Bunny Dummy with the timely clear.
The seconds ticking away now. Time is running out for 1&E if they want a chance to get a second goal here. Great pass. Ballaris can clear out very, very well. Gone now. Looking for backboard, but I don't think he has the backup. Bunny Dummy can't get it past Rapupi. He gets bumped backwards into that. And a bad situation once again for 1&E. 20 seconds on the board. I don't think they're going to get 2 goals in that.
but they're attacking so aggressively, and I don't see that letting up. The problem is it's just too high of a mountain for them to climb, and I'm getting some horrific flashbacks of last week where they put, I think it was like 3 times as many shots as their opponent, yet they still lost the game. They get so desperate to find these goals that they're not focusing on the next man. They're not trying to set up. They're not trying to bait out the defense. It's just straight shot after straight shot after straight shot, and sometimes that is the easiest thing to win. Yes, it does require patient defense. Yes, it requires great communication, but ERA from game 1 have proven, they can handle being under the pump for a good long while, and once again they survive a relentless attack and come out on top.
Misty having some problems here. We're gonna have to see what this means for us, but there's some major issues going on right now. We will fill you in as soon as we know more.
Yeah, things are looking very dire for 1NE again. I just said it before, but it's those flashbacks from last week, being on that match point and just being unable to seal the deal. You have to question what is going on in their minds right now. Are they letting another series slip through their fingers? If you include what happened last week, they have now played 4 games where a win equals in, and they have lost all 4. That can become 5 with another loss right now. ERA, they are in position to pull off what I would not even consider to be a feasible upset, yet they looked absolutely on point in that last game. Their defense was phenomenal. When they found those openings to attack, they were hitting it. Easel in particular, his erratic, nearly, I don't want to use the BC word, but he was everywhere, it felt like, and always getting those fantastic hits.
The BC word, I'm gonna be using that. I like that. It was a very tough match for 1NE, but as much as 1NE made mistakes, Ira picked up their game so much, and exactly what you were pointing out with Easel, his challenges were just so key in those plays. He won every 50, and he was able to get some unbelievable reads, and that was what caused 1NE to falter in many of the occasions. I mean, yes, you have to put some blame on 1NE where it's deserved, but Ira just forced so many errors.
Exactly that, and as we move to Champions Field, our Game 5 showdown, I'm wondering, what does 1NE have in their bag of tricks? Now, normally the best way to beat a ball chaser, in my opinion, is to, either A, just flat out beat him in that 1v1, or B, give him a bump, give him a demo, give him a shove, because the rest of the team, his side, are probably sometimes going to get thrown off a little bit by his antics, and you can almost play through it in that regard. Obviously, this is going to be a very tight situation, though, because you're in that game 5. One mistake can cost you that qualification. It's much easier to win this one game than win 2 more series. I can say that right now. So both these teams are going to be very hungry for this win.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one either way. I mean, we are going to our game 5, but it's hard to predict because 1NE, when they're on, they're really on. And Ira, they've been able to adjust to that. They've come in and they've had bad games, but they've also had amazing games. And when they've had amazing games, it's absolutely looks like it's a response to playing against 1NE. They are learning as they go. So Ira, I feel like every game you give them to learn, they're going to do better against you.
And you have the 1NE curse where each series, sometimes they start to break down as we progress. Furthermore, I think to sort of further emphasize that argument is we have seen more adaptive gameplay coming from the Euro side so far in this series. They've had their strong defensive showing. They've had their strong offensive showings. Both times when they get settled, when they start to feel confident and comfortable, their rotations are on point. Their communication does seem to be there. Yes, and sometimes you get a little bit wily and they do overcommit or double commit a little bit, but as long as they're winning those situations, they're able to get away with them scot-free. Whereas 1NE, I don't know, they keep going with these sort of straight shots down the middle time and time again. When they start to get desperate, when they start to panic, it just turns into just take the shot if you think you can push the ball towards the goal. And a lot of times that's actually quite easy to defend, especially at this level.
You say it's desperation, but I think, yes, they do that under desperation, but I also tend to see it whenever they've had a good run. They just had 2 great games in a row, came into that one and started taking easy shots because they just didn't give enough respect to their opponents then. And you need, especially at this level, and playing for what they're up for right now. The kickoff is such a big deal. They need to respect their opponents. They need to understand that straight shots like that aren't going to cut it. And having that overconfidence is just as bad as having a lack of confidence completely sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, only the team really knows what they're thinking of those situations. It could be either of those scenarios that we have just painted out, but what we do know for certain is that we will be kicking off this game 5 soon. Still sort of waiting for players to reconnect, but it might take about 10 minutes for that to happen. So we are going to be going to a break, but when we come back, game 5 hopefully will be kicking off. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Come cold blood, selfish. Your words are painless. I like when I drive and feel so dangerous. They say I'm a red flag, 'cause they want it so bad. You should know I'm holding on to what I have. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon. Into the night, the city lights are dancing, slowly falling apart. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm wishing upon a star. This time I'm feeling stronger, and I know I can do better. The shadows causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up, causing an outbreak. I'm turning the light. We're gonna light it up, oh, light it up, ooh, light it up,
And we're back. It's been an unfortunate 10 minutes. Unfortunately, 1&E has had to forfeit their spot in the kickoff. Era is going through, so congratulations to them, but we will not be seeing our Game 5 between these teams, and we'll just have to move on, and we will be seeing our next matches very shortly.
Yeah, exactly that. 1NE will not be qualifying. They have had to DQ themselves out of the entire tournament, actually. Like, they are done, which is good news for Aloha, as down in that losers bracket, it also means they're going to be going straight to that loser semifinal and that last chance to qualify. But for us, we still have more series to play. We will be continuing with Integrity taking on Carball, and the winner of that will be playing Aloha for the final spot. And well, I think what's most important out of all this, ERA has qualified. They are in, and that is huge for this group of three.
Yeah, and I mean, they were kind of the underdogs here as well, particularly with Bonnie Dummy coming in as basically a new addition to the roster of Easel and Baleares, and he's been doing fantastically as well. He's really filling a good spot in that team, and he came through well to really support them and bring them through, particularly in that last Game 4, and they were looking quite good for Game 5. I almost expected well, it wouldn't have been a reverse sweep for once because one near lost that first match, but yeah, I nearly expected them to come back and earn that 5th game. So yeah, really big congratulations to Ira, and hope you can do really well with that spot in the finals next weekend. But who is our next teams up? Can you fill me in,
Integrity
Matt?
and Carball. It is Integrity and Carball. They will be our next showdown. And Integrity, obviously, they fell short to Ooga Booga, who is that other team. So we have 7 of our 8 teams. There's really only 1 spot left. So we will be taking another break. But when we come back, Integrity versus Carball. Winner of that takes on Aloha. And the winner of that match then gets that 8th qualifying seed. So don't go too far. Rocket League will continue in just a few moments.
And yeah, the Carball team, the actual roster for this, it's not one that I know at all. I don't actually know how to pronounce one of the names there, as it's all in Japanese characters. So the only ones there I can pronounce is Akin and Haru. Integrity, most of the people who've watched APL before will know those names, though. There's Psycho, Jason, and Sipso. So Carball is just a huge question mark in this competition right now.
Yeah, they are going to be a team that I'm looking forward to learning about. That is for sure, as we're getting in. I thought we were throwing to a break. My apologies. But apparently we're just going to keep on rolling, I think, now until the series starts. So, surprise. All right, let's keep moving on then. We are going to a break. Okay, let's go to that break, and then when we come back, we will continue. So, we'll be back shortly.
I'm sick of fighting the things that you said. I don't wanna burn all our bridges ahead. I'm tired of going to bed when you left me on red just to turn up the noise in my head. I told you that one day ain't never enough. You tell me I hate you, I still call you up. If we don't got trust, we can never have love. I was putting in the hours, I was. You were calling me a liar, 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 liar. I've been putting in the hours, I was. And it's coming down to now and never. I was putting in the putting in the
to make it. Tell me, is it left to try? Where do we run? Where do we run? Where do we run?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Kickoff Qualifiers Asia edition here at the APL. I am still Formal, joined by Gex. We will be here for as long as people allow us to be here. We're not being forced out just yet. And it looks like we are going straight into the action. In fact, this is losers semifinal Integrity taking on Carball. And I was a little bit too eager. I saw players jumping in there, just testing the server. They're making sure it's okay, but definitely going to be an interesting matchup now. I know a lot of buzz and a lot of talk has been happening about what's happened with 1NE and their series against ERA, but as it turns out, 1NE, they actually might not be completely done.
Yeah, there is some good news for them. Their sub Squirrel is currently at the airport, but if he can get home in time before they disqualify for the next match, they do still have a chance here. Unfortunately, Misty will be out for the rest of the day. But we don't have to focus on that right now because we have Integrity versus Carball up right now. Integrity, a team everybody knows fairly well at this point, Sipso, Jason, and Psycho. And Carball, not one that I know particularly well. It is currently, we're looking at some really interesting players here. We've got Haru, Ultralight, and Alexandre? I'm not quite sure. Somebody's gonna have to correct me on that.
Yeah, well, probably won't be me because I am the most dyslexic out there. But Carball definitely is not going to be a team that we sort of undervalue. They did qualify for this match by beating Redundant and would look to be an absolute banger of a series. Now, Redundant as well, one of those teams we kind of expected to be fighting till that bitter end. You can't have players, you know, like Hargun, like Broski on your team and, you know, beat them and think nothing of it. No. Carball, apparently, this is a very legitimate team. I'm excited to see how they play. I think this is going to be a strong team, and I'm super excited to see what the series is going to bring.
Yeah, and it's always exciting when you get that question mark team. Carball, I just have no idea what they're going to bring here. And it could go really badly for them, or they could be absolutely fantastic and smash this out of the park. I just have no idea, but it's really, really exciting, especially going into first game, seeing what happens with this.
Well, Haru is a name I am familiar with, so it's not like these are complete no names. We've never seen any of these players before. They definitely have that skill there, so Haru is going to be the player that I'm going to be watching the most as a result of kind of having an idea who he is. But even then, if you're asking me to pick a favorite, I'm still leading towards familiarity. I'm leading towards integrity. I think they're feeling quite lucky that they get this matchup. Whether or not, you know, that luck is going to fall through, we will see. Either way, we are kicking off onto the pitch. This is the loser semifinal, best of 5 win, and you get to that last qualifying match.
We've seen some amazing things from Jason too, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on him. Already some attack coming out from Carball. Psycho now going to take this up wall. Doesn't get it past Haru. Misses Bush as well. Not a good opportunity for Psycho. Jason sends that out. Sipso's not going to be up for that pass, but it's going to go back to the blue half. They'll just wait, take their time, and clear this out at their own leisure. And it's going to come downfield to Haru. Back down to the corner, Psycho. Big clear out. Ultralight now. Nobody chasing. It's been a lot of back and forth for this first minute and a half.
Jason, though, nearly finding that first shot. Psycho with the fall through, setting up Sipso's able to spike it over to and get that opening goal. Integrity looking good in this first minute, up 1-0.
Yeah, fantastic play. Haru and Ultralight did try to commit on that, and they needed the save. Wasn't a bad decision even to send 2 people at that point. They knew that they were going to lose a goal if they didn't hit that, but unfortunately unable to get to that. Integrity take a very, very nice first goal. Haru now, good aggression. Ooh,
I'm liking what I'm seeing from Integrity already. They're willing to get physical. They're willing to make the bumps in order to clear sort of these defensive lines and turn that pressure right around. This blue side just seems to be playing that little bit faster. They're getting a little bit more accurate with their touches, at least initially. I mean, Alexandre, that's a good little pass up to Haru, who unfortunately doesn't like that shot. 3 defenders already there waiting for the ball to come to them. And Integrity, they just feel a little bit more control right now and a bit more organized, and most importantly, quite a bit faster.
Sipso just barely misses that ball. He was trying to get the second touch himself and send that in the goal. Haru now going to clear that to corner rather than let it go to backboard. Good decision as blue players encroaching very quickly. Ultralight gonna clear off his own backboard. Psycho now gets read by Haru. 50-50 goes well for him. Sipso now off backboard. Good chance, Jason. Haru's gonna save that one.
Psycho had that good initial bump. Unfortunately, the second one that was needed for the goal was unable to follow through in time. But what is important is how strong this Integrity side is looking when attacking. They're trying to be proactive and make these bump plays and be able to follow through. And what I like about them is they're fast enough to recover from it just in case they do miss, as you see right there. Carball not quite fast enough to turn it around and find a quick goal in response. Normally that can happen when you're going for these aggressive bump plays, but Integrity, they just seem to be a cut above right now, and for a majority of this game, we've seen a few signs of light every now and then coming from Carball. Haru, in particular, has put a couple shots at least off that backboard. However, the recovery just a bit too quick from this blue side.
Yeah, very, very quick rotations, particularly. Ultralight just there. Very key save. Alexandre taking that to wall, but Sipso will get a good 50-50 and a second one. He'll chase that down. He's now on their side. Good pass to backboard. Psycho can't find the shot though, and Jason will have to collect that in the corner to try again.
Psycho really would have liked to hit that goal because whilst, yes, Integrity has been dominating, it's still only a 1-goal game, and that means one mistake can open the doors right back for Carball. And with as aggressively as Integrity tends to push up the pitch at times, these counterattacks, they can be lethal. If you make one wrong misstep, Psycho, though, is able to make the save. He was that last man. That was important, but it did also bait Carball forward, and Sipso able to get it right behind Alexandre to make it a 2-0 game.
Sipso, just smart play here. He waited very patiently for that ball to come to him. Open goal, struck it nicely, and had full confidence that was going to go in.
Absolutely a beautiful start right there, and I expect to see more of the same right now unless we see a huge turnaround from Carball. As off of the kickoff, Psycho's just able to take the ball, the distance. I don't know, something about Carball, again, they're playing that little bit too slow. They overcommitted before, which kind of opened the door for that counterattack. They weren't able to make a smart read off of the kickoff right now. They just don't feel like they're playing at their full strength, or at least the strength one would expect from a team that has made it this far.
Sipso now can't get the 50. Ultralight, very fortunate. Now Alexandre has to try and find that center. He can't get it. It goes over Haru. Ultralight now loses a 50. Sent to midfield, and once again Carball in defense. Alexandre, they need to look for some control here.
See, Alexandre, he did half of the right thing. He got that initial touch into the corner, but the better teams are usually able to follow through, either Alexandre himself or push someone out of the box. But you can see everyone was sort of hesitating to make that move, and as a result, a continued Integrity attack. It's situations like that sometimes where you can sort of gauge teams. However, this counterattack almost looks dangerous. Ultralight through the corner. If someone's there, it could be that situation, but Haru was too far forward, unfortunately, and Alexandre was already rotating back, and that looked like the best chance almost Carball was going to have to find a goal.
Sipso, Haru now. Clear goes well, but he's out of boost and just floating down. Good chance for Ultralight. Jason reads the shot well and is able to defend that. He's on it again, taking it off his own backboard. There's a shot from Ultralight going to go off backboard. Sipso now. Great pass up to Psycho. That's amazing. Haru now.
Haru
has a good chance.
Ooh. That looked close, and again, I like that pass. I think that was, the most intricate sort of play we've seen from Carball yet in this game, and I want to see more of that moving forward as game one is going to come to a close. It's either going to be 3-0 or 4-0, I expect. Okay, 3-0 as the ball does touch. Integrity looking absolutely dominant in this first game. And aside from, you know, a couple brief moments, they really had control from start to finish. Again, I always like to look at that shot counter to get a real gauge. 11 shots to 4 in favor of Integrity. Absolutely a phenomenal job. And unless Carball can find a way to sort of get these sort of brief flurries of offense and make them last into sustained attacks, they're really not going to have enough opportunities, I feel like, to beat this blue side.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit hard to judge, seeing as we are looking at the first game, but like you said, there were just a few signs there that, you know, a higher level team would have picked up a few extra touches here and there, and that is what leads to the doubts that they can take on a team like Integrity. But we do still have at least 2 more games left, and they may have what it takes to push through those and learn from Integrity and come back at them. And you often do see this from the newer teams, that they learn much faster their opponents and how to combat that. So we may see a few great goals out of Kabul yet.
And here's the important thing that I want to bring up about this. Like, they beat Redundant, right? Well, here were the score lines. 2-1, they won. 0-2, they lost. 1-0, they won. 3-6, they lost. 3-1, they won. Every time they lost a game, they were able to bounce back and take the next one. So by all means, this team still very legitimate. I think that we will be seeing a bounce back, and perhaps in this game too, we will see more of what their full strength is. But game one definitely has me concerned.
Jason now losing kickoff. Psycho will have to take it in corner. He's going to have low-ish boost. He's got good control there. Sipso up, bad 50, but Ultralight can't take a shot yet. Jason takes it up ball very nicely. He's under that, gets a good flick in. Alexandre can put that to corner and out of harm's way just yet.
Okay, what I found interesting about that entire play right there was Integrity. First of all, very great patient defense. They were sending one person at a time to challenge. That's all well and good. The issue was Carball had 2 people all the way back in defense. If they pushed another person forward, maybe they could have found an opening or at least put more pressure on the defense. But as it stood, it was such an easy read. And now here comes the counterattack. And I guess this is what happens when they push 2 people forward. They're immediately put under strife as well. It seems with everything Carball tries to do at this stage, Integrity has an answer for it. Psycho, ooh, a good read off that backward. Again, stopping this Carball attack before it even gets going.
Jason now going back. Sipso gonna dribble that out to corner. Alexandre can't read it yet, but he does get a good touch eventually. Jason now, good early flick in for a center, but Ultralight is up early. Psycho put that off backboard and get a second touch. It's gonna go out to center. Sipso, good shot just over bar. Now Jason blocked away by Alexandre. Ultralight now can't quite beat that 50. Jason out to midfield. Haru now in goal. Will be able to clear that out. Ultralight takes it to wall. It's going to bounce in nicely, but Jason's there. Alexandre now can't get a touch, and that's going to go out to midfield.
Okay, so going back a little bit, I actually want to sing some praises to Carball because I feel like I've been a little too harsh on them. During that entire offensive exchange from Integrity, they did a great job of boost management, actually. They were only using boost when they absolutely had to. Hold that thought, this could be a score. Psycho doesn't get the touch he was looking for. And again, we're sort of seeing, for the most part, great boost management, particularly out of Alexandra and Haru. They're being very conservative, only using just what they need, and as a result, they're able to sustain these attacks for that little bit longer and continue to survive through them.
We haven't really seen what Kabul is capable of with some pressure on their opponents yet, but Alexandre now trying to change that. Ultralight will take that to wall. He's going to go up and take it himself. Psycho will come up to meet him. The 50 goes to corner, and Haru is available, but Psycho there just bumping his opponent.
All right,
good shot, Alexandre can't find it. Oh, very close.
Oh, but the follow through from Ultralight is again another miss. Haru finally is able to get it through. It was the 4th time being the charm in this instance, as Carball does get their first big lead in this series. And this is what I meant about this team being able to bounce back. I think they're playing this game so much smarter than what they played game 1 right now. Their boost management has improved and then some. They were able to get a sustained flurry of offense. They didn't immediately lose control. They committed, but committed in an intelligent fashion where each person was behind the next. They didn't overcommit, they didn't double connect, and as a result, they're actually up 1-0.
Yeah, and the intelligence, you mentioned it multiple times there, I think is really the key here. I mean, you're still seeing plays that aren't quite up to the level of Integrity, but because of the measured pace they're taking this game at, continuing to just hold good defense. Kabul is now up by 1 off of 1 good opportunity that they've taken well.
And that's what they have to do. I think that's the style of play they're going to be going for. And Alexandra nearly going for a bit of a solo dribble right there across the skies. Jason now going to return the favor. Alexandra is back on defense, but Ultralight is actually able to cut it off. This unfortunately may backfire against him, though, because it also buys time for Integrity to kind of pile through. Alexandra with the miss, but a good 51 by Ultralight. Throws the ball back to the blue side of the bench.
Jason now can chase that down. 50s off of the roof of an opponent. It's now a good opportunity for him. He's going to flick that in. Unfortunately, he didn't wait for a teammate. Good bump there. And now Psycho. Unable to get anything out of that.
He was a little bit too slow on the approach with that one. The defense did double commit, and honestly, I'm not sure if he saw it or just probably wasn't able to really get control of the ball considering his position of that when he had to sort of commit for that slower play, which is unfortunate because if he had gotten a quick pass down below and there would have been a player there, that would have been a goal. That said, Psycho now is going to try and push for himself. Does make one defender miss. Ultralight should be able to steal away from below. Jason there waiting. Puts a lob shot on target that little bit too high, and Haro is able to clear it to the corner.
Sipso now going to put that off backboard. Alexandre up early. Psycho should be able to get to this first. He does. He's going to put it just straight off backboard, and Jason can't get to that before a very, very quick defense is mounted against it. Now, good opportunity.
Haro can't quite get it. Neither can Ultralight. Yeah, that shot, you got to hit it harder than that. That's just the unfortunate truth in situations like this. But time still working in favor of Carball, who actually are going to be looking to take game number 2 right now. This patient, preserved defense coming through in spades. Like, I'm going to say it very reminiscent of, you know, that Season 8 Canberra Havoc. I have to make my OCE reference once. But, you know, this defense that just plays intelligently, finds 1 or 2 opportunities a game, but then makes it count. Sometimes these teams are the most dangerous. And when I was reading through the scores before, that was how Carball won their games. They were all very low-scoring affairs, and they're going to take this one 1-0.
Yeah, and yeah, really, as you said, just well measured. And Kabul coming through 1-0, I really feel like that is a testament to the intelligence they have in this game. It's just good decision making on their part. They did barely scrape through, but they scraped through because of what they did. This was no fluke. Yeah, really, really great game from them, despite not having any massive exciting plays or anything. They had a few more opportunities that they weren't able to capitalize on, but they continued to push and didn't let up on the momentum they had, and that held them at that 1-0 lead.
Yeah, a great showing from Carball, and this is what I want to see more of from this team. Sometimes, you know, when you are that little bit of the unknown, you can play a more conservative, a more intelligent style of game, and you'll be able to get those wins. And now it's up to Integrity to kind of find a way to beat it, and that can either be, you know, by sort of out-braining them, out-chessing them, if you will, or go full ham on the mechanics. Let's see if you can really win these 1v1 situations. I do feel pound for pound mechanically. I've liked what I've seen out of Integrity a little bit more, but they didn't really get a case to showcase it in game number 2 like they did in game number 1. And if they can sort of find that mojo back and really make some of these solo plays happen, well, they might be able to break through or try and outbrain them. Either way works, but you got to do something, because if Carball can play their style of game, this could be a very, very fast series of games, because they're all going to be low-scoring affairs.
Yeah, and that is the issue for a lot of high-ranking teams, is when they are forced to play their opponent's game, if it's a very different style, it's very difficult for a well-adjusted, well-rounded off team to just suddenly throw their play style out the window to combat that. And it often can throw the balance of the game way out, and it gives a team like Kabul a good shot at something like this.
Yeah, and this has just become a very, very interesting series now. It's one of those series where sometimes I say this and it rarely happens to come true, but I'm just going to keep sticking with it anyways. The team that scores first, I actually think gets such a huge advantage that they probably take it, because it kind of enables, you know, one team to really hone in on their style, be it a more aggressive offense like we'll want to see out of Integrity, or Carball just being able to sit back and not feel that pressure to get that initial goal, like what we saw in game number 2. At the moment, it is Carball actually on the attack. Alexander trying to get a dunk on Psycho, but is unable to. That did force a double commit out of the defense. Jason able to clear it to the orange side.
I did like that speed out of Alexandre there. He didn't quite get the touch he was looking for, but it's promising for future plays. Haru with a big miss there. Ultralight fast on the cover for that. Alexandre now not quite in the position he wants to be for that defense. Sipso can send that up. It's close to backboard. Haru is going to get the touch off of a very close to bump from Sipso.
Oh, that touch from Alexander was almost golden. Unfortunately, a little bit too high. Can't fault him for that attempt. Sipso, good little play, pushing it forward off the backboard. This could open the door if Jason was just a little bit higher. He could have been able to spike it through.
Alexandre putting that to backboard. Sipso waits very patiently. Haru, very good 50-50. Jason now will have to take this out. Haru can't quite make it to a bit of a double commit. Alexandre's up. What a shot! Just barely out off of that crossbar. What a almost perfect shot. But it's in anyway. There's Alexandre again. Fantastic.
Too much pressure for the defense to handle right there. The normal patient defense from Integrity, they double commit and then everyone goes down to the ground. Unfortunately, that means no one's off that backward to sort of make that drop save. No one feeling like they had the time to rotate and try and steal a boost away means no one could really make one of those sweeping saves as well. And yeah, just too much pressure and eventually things break. And once again, Carball with this 1-0 lead. Last time they kind of fell back and were able to play a very defensive style. Well, right now Integrity, they haven't really been too eager to try and force too many issues, it feels like. They're unable to in situations like this. That shot was very dangerous. Good save by, I believe it was Tipso, but they can't stop the shot from Ultralight, and it is now 2-0 in favor of Carball.
Yeah, really, really well played, and the speed is picking up for Carball too. What a great pass down to Ultralight from Alexandre. Alexandre really, really showing off on this team right now. Haru's the name that we know more, but Alexandre really, really picking this up for the team right now.
Yeah, he is doing a phenomenal job as Ultralight. He's going to go up for a double touch himself, spikes it down. Jackson able to make the read from underneath. However, Haru is there trying to throw it forward, but the rest of his team is retreating back. I don't think they were aware of how great that opportunity could have been. Alexander now going to try and lead the charge himself. Psycho goes for the challenge, loses out. Jason now gets slow played as well. Sipso, fortunately, the third man able to find that clear.
And he needed to, because it would have been an open net had he been dribbled as well. And Sipso now, great redirect, gonna come off backboard. Can Psycho find the touch? He can't, but Jason can read that, use it as a pass, and slam it into the back of the net.
Yeah, as we watch this replay right here, a beautiful touch by Psycho to open the door for Jason. And that is a critical goal because it's the first goal that we've actually seen this blue side get well behind. It does mean that this defense, when they go on full, lockdown mode, can be broken, and that might open up the door for unless Alexander can get that reset. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too late and couldn't get all four wheels on the ball.
Maybe seeing here that that first match was a little bit of nerves on Carball's side, because even coming out with big attempts at plays at the very least, with flip resets and stuff like that coming out from Carball now, speed has picked up. Everything just looking better for them.
Yeah, things are looking really good as Ultralight now trying to put more pressure on from this Carball side. And I have to admit, the sort of little narrative that I thought this series was taking was going to be, yeah, Carball is that more defensive team, but so far in Game 3, they've been on attack a lot more than on defense, and it's a pleasant sight to see, actually. Every game, the Sword side has been looking stronger and stronger. But those opportunities have been there for Integrity, so I'd like to see what they might be able to do. Haro just keeping the ball in the skies, gets the bump as well. And it's those little things that can create more opportunities for your side. Unfortunately, Ultralight and Alexandre weren't in position to follow through.
Have to give credit to Jason there. He still got to that despite the bump and did give back possession to them. Alexandre now in the corner. Good flick past one. Sipso can't get a good touch on that. Alexandre gonna get it past Psycho a little. It's kind of stuck in corner right now.
Oh.
Sipso now off of a bit of a bump play.
Alexandre pushing forward. Psycho catches it off the backboard, drops to Ultralight, who throws it towards the goal, but not quite on target enough. It is still a car ball attack, however, with Integrity racing back on defense. They need to find an opening. I imagine they have one, maybe two more left in this game, and this could be a Jessen into the box. Who's in the middle? It is Sipso, but he's there with no momentum, so he can't put that banger of a shot on. Jessen again going to try to throw it back, but Ultralight able to get to the ball first.
Some fantastic pressure still from Kabul. They're only up by one, but they won by that 1 point last game as well. Alexandre now. Jassen is going to follow that out. He has 6 boost. Psycho to backboard. Alexandre can clear out, but Sipso will get back possession. He's going to take it himself. Sipso demoed there. They're going to need somebody else. Psycho is there with 6 seconds left. Gets the evening goal.
Fantastic play by Sipso. No one expected him to cut that off. Psycho, trusting his teammate with the follow-through, is able to get that open net, and that was that spark of life Integrity needed. They have tied this game up, and I can't believe we are this far, like nearly 2 hours into this broadcast. We haven't had an overtime yet. We finally could be seeing one now.
I was gonna say, Sipso's speed there, fantastic as well. Absolutely recognized what was going on. Sorry, it wasn't Sipso. Whoever scored that last goal.
Alexandra, Ultralight's gonna put one on target, but it's a little bit short. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that was getting way too close for comfort right there at the end.
Oh, absolutely cut me off. That was very exciting play. Alexandre now trying to put on pressure very early. Can't read Psycho. Haru now is going to face backwards on that wall. He can't get any second touches. Alexandre in the corner. Ultralight will get that out to midfield though, looking for the early center. Actually took a shot and Jassen had to deal with that on backboard.
Are you ready for me to make a bold prediction?
Sure, go for it.
This is going to be a 5+ minute overtime. I think both these teams have, like, shown at times they kind of fall back to defensive natures when kind of put under pressure. And I feel like that could be what we see right here. I think the team that really takes that first risk is either going to win or lose the game at that moment. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a very much slower pace, very defense-heavy overtime right now.
Game length overtime, that is a big prediction. We'll have to see if that comes true because a lot of pressure coming out, but the defense does seem tight on both teams right now. Demo and Haru, good chance. Psycho now.
If it's under 5 minutes, I'm leaning more towards Integrity taking it because they've already seen a bit more attack from them right now. As you can see right here, Jassen with that speed straight over the top. Ultralight the last hit barely avoids getting dunked on to lose that game.
Yeah, absolutely thought that there was a possibility there of a read. Ultralight, great pass down to Alexandre, can't quite make it before Jassen up with good speed. Haru reads that well, he's up for a second touch. It's going to go out to midfield, but Ultralight is not on that side to take the pass. Now Alexandre with very little boost, can't do much. Jassen now has an opportunity. It's going to go past goal though.
It's going to go past goal. Ultralight tries to clear, but the third man, Psycho, is there. Alexander actually can put a shot on that was not on target, and Jassen was able to make the save regardless. Haru keeping the pressure there a little bit lower, and that goes in the net. Opportunities for both these teams so far in this overtime, and no one able to capitalize. Until Haru can get the spike, he doesn't find the angle. Now Alexander's a bit too slow. Ultralight man powers it in, and Carball takes game number 3.
I can't believe this goal. So many touches it took to get that. Jassen got a fantastic touch to save there and just wasn't enough. Rolls off that post and just barely trickles in.
It was just muscle. Pure grit and determination as Ultralight is able to force that ball in. And look, I'll admit, I was wrong. I thought we were going to be getting a long overtime today, but no, instead Carball actually pulls the trigger when they have to much earlier than I anticipated. And they are now match point, 1 game away from getting to that last qualifying match. And I'm excited to see if they're going to be able to pull it through.
Yeah. Carball saying no to both of your predictions and pulling this out, and it's always great to see a team that we really don't have any huge expectations of pull something out like this. I mean, that's an exciting overtime, and they've been really pushing. The aggression is now very interesting to watch, and the plays they're pulling out are getting better and better as this series goes along. I'm almost expecting Carball to win this.
I think well, I mean, they're going to be in that best position they can be to take it. They only need to win one more game. And if the big difference I felt in game number 3 than what we saw in games number 1 and 2 was their willingness to get aggressive, their willingness to sort of push forward. And now they just got to do it one more time. Integrity. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see them struggling this much. Game number 1, they just completely outclassed Carball, it felt like, but that is no longer the case. And now the pressure is on them to try and find their way back into this series.
Going in pretty quickly into this one, and it's going to be Haru versus Jason on kickoff. Haru wins that initial kickoff, but Sipso up off ceiling, going to get that down to Psycho. Quick passing play. Alexandre now up, looking for an early touch, but can't quite get the ball under control. Double commit, Ultralight now out of goal. Unfortunate position, but Sipso can't take advantage.
Sipso can't take advantage of it just yet. Ooh, good bump from Haru right there, but it's not quite strong enough, at least at the moment. Psycho gonna do what he can, does beat out Alexandra. Sipso going up for it, beats out Haru as well. This ball pushing forward, but I don't know. That's not the touch Ultralight wanted, and if Psycho had a bit more faith in his team, that would have been a very early goal.
Haru now gonna take this up to Psycho. Ultralight. Good pass in, but Jason's up early. It's a big shot. Alexandre gets there just in time to make that not a long goal.
Yeah, Haru gonna do what he can, pass across the middle. No one there to catch it just yet. Jason with the follow through doesn't quite get the pinch he is looking for either. From underneath, the attack continuing for Carball, but they're unable to push it forward. Sipso now has a chance to set up his team. Ultralight catching possession of the ball. Very, very slow push. Tailing away from Jason. Ball in the middle of the pitch. Psycho trying to push it forward. Alexandra needs a good touch and actually gets enough to get it past Sipso. Ultralight with the follow through off the backboard. Do we see that shot from Ultralight? Not quite. Psycho makes the save.
Psycho got there just in time for that. Was looking good, but we also had the demo on, I believe it was Haru, which made sure there was no second player to take a shot here. Open net. Alexandre has to get this down the floor early if they want to take advantage of this defensive error, but it's not fast enough as Sipso makes a save off the backboard.
Sipso able to make a good save, but now Alexandro's going to try and push the ball forward himself. 50 stays in the middle. Faster teams get to the ball first. This time it is Ultralight backboard setup. Interrupted by Jessen, but with not enough angle to stop the attack in its entirety. Jessen again going up for it. Ultralight again winning another 50. Ultralight seems to be winning every single 50 right now, and he has become an absolute menace. Alexandra as well with the cheeky little dunk. Does mean Haru almost has a chance for the shot, but Jessen is able to get there first.
Ultralight can't read the bounce off ceiling. Alexandre gonna put that back off backboard. Jason sends that out. Haru should be able to get to that, but he's a bit slow. Jason now full way into the field. He just has to get past Alexandre, and he can't quite do it.
That's a great save right there from Alexandre, and it doesn't get him out of danger just yet. Jason is still going to keep the pressure there for integrity, and the ball's dropping in a very dangerous spot. Sipso was unable to get quite underneath it enough. Ultralight trying to push through, stopped by Psycho momentarily. Alexandre already there, and Carball has become the faster team, it feels like, just in between games. Every time that ball's in no man's land, it's always an orange card getting there first.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. There's a shot from Alexandre, and the defense has just been thrown around too much to be able to do anything with that. Jason got an unfortunate touch there, and Sipso couldn't turn on that, so that's going to be the first goal going to Kabul. I was almost expecting us to go to overtime on 0-0, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but it was just too much time given and too much space, so that ball could have been placed anywhere he wanted on that goal. And despite there being two defenders still in the box, he was able to cross them each up and find that critical first point. Alexandra nearly finds itself a second, but is unable to. A beautiful dunk from Alexandra. Does have the defense reeling from Integrity. Ultralight going to go for a dribble play, unable to get above it and spike it down. Haru as well pushed a little bit too far forward. Sipso wanted to pass it to Jason, but accidentally overshoots him, and that means two cars have gone a bit too far forward. Desperation defensive plays aren't really working just yet for Integrity. The ball inching towards the goal. Sipso finally finds the clear.
It's a good clear too. Might leave them with ball control if Jason can do something with this. He's going to grab that boost. It's good boost management. Haru sending that out. Sipso now gonna have to turn on this, but Haru's gonna good flick, barely saved by Sipso, but there's Alexandre. He's gonna send in a second one. They are looking good for this game.
Sipso, I thought he was a miracle worker, but maybe not quite enough. He got that first critical save, but could not recover in time to stop Alexandra. But that entire play is set up from Integrity pushing too far forward, leaving poor Sipso on his own in an unwinnable situation. And now 2 goals down. This could be the end of Integrity's run unless they can pull that magic rabbit out of that hat.
Ultralight, Psycho. Psycho to backboard, Sipso's there, good read!
Just like that, this game is not over yet. Psycho, great push down the pitch. Even better read from Sipso when it matters most. Granted, they only had 1 defender to beat, and beat them they did. Integrity fighting back in this one. They have just under a minute to get that equalizer. Do or die for this blue side in a matchup you really feel like they should be winning. So I expect they have the tools to do it, but will they be able to pull it off? Sipso thinks he can, but he cannot beat out that last defender.
It's been a lot of time between goals, pretty much in every one, but Alexander is gonna stop that sentence in its tracks and send a very, very nice shot in. Read that perfectly off the backboard and just sends that just under crossbar. Beautiful shot.
What was Psycho attempting to do in that situation? I think he thought someone was going to be underneath to catch that pass, but no one on his team was sort of ready for that setup. He pushed it too far out in front of the own box, and for Carball, they were like, yes, thank you very much. We will take that and score a goal. A disastrous situation that really may have cost Integrity's last chance to fight back into this game. 30 seconds remaining, they need 2 goals, and I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off because Carball's defense has been that consistent.
Yeah, poor Integrity, they just opened up that chance. They had less than a minute left, and now with closing 16 seconds, can they get a goal? No, Alexandre is there. Ultralight gonna put that to safety, and Alexandre will follow that down. Going down to the last 6 seconds, there's no chance of 2 goals now. Haru puts that out, and Alexandre is just gonna let that drop. Carball takes the game and the series. I did not expect this result.
Oh, it got very interesting at the end right there. That last flurry of offense coming from Integrity looked so good, yet Carball's defense, which has been rock solid, it feels like throughout this entire series, was able to hold on. Alexandre, yeah, he only had 3 saves that game, but it felt like those all came at the very end when it did matter most. A fantastic victory for Carball, and they now find themselves 1 match away from qualifying again. This is a new team. This is one we're not too familiar with. Yes, we know Haru, but these other 2 names, this is my first time seeing them. And Alexandre, in particular, has been looking phenomenal. All of his defensive touches are great. Ultralight as well. He seems to win every single 50. He is one of the fastest cars out there. Every time the ball's in no man's land, he tends to get there first. I like this Carball team.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. They started slow in game 1, but fought back so hard, and they made themselves a team to watch. It was actually spectacular Carball after that point. So really well done by that team. They're actually gonna move forward, and well done to them.
Yeah, they will go to that losers final, and from what I've gathered, just taking a quick look, and I can be corrected immediately, so this could be, fake news, but 1NE hasn't forfeited against Aloha yet, which tells me they got their sub back in, so they're currently playing right now, I do believe. Yeah, you can take a look right there. 1NE and Aloha are going at it, so heads up, we could be seeing the redemption arc from this squad as they are playing Aloha at the moment. Obviously, the winner of that series will be taking on Carball in our losers final to really figure out who qualifies for that last spot.
But until then, we will be taking a very, very short break. Just get excited because we have more games up, and of course next weekend as well. That's our finals. That's the big one to watch, so stick around, follow APL, and don't miss a minute of this.
That was my pufferfish. All right, see you soon.
wanna feel your touch like ice, tracing all my scars. Why is it hurt on the inside? It's unforgivable, but I forgive you every time. Hard to let it go, 'cause we're intertwined. I break you break me, but something about it makes us so, baby. Every piece keeps us together in the cold. I break you break me, holding our love in chains of gold. I break you break me, holding our love in chains of gold. Frozen in a dream, I can't escape the thoughts of you. If I try to leave, when I'm with you I can't move. It's unforgivable, but I forgive you every time. Hard to let it go, 'cause we're intertwined. I break you break me, but something about it makes us whole, baby. Every piece keeps us together in the cold. I break you break me, holding our love in chains of gold. I break you break me, holding our love in chains of gold. Can you feel it? The fire in your soul, leaping at the chance for love. Can you feel it? Haunting your senses, letting all your feelings go. But I can feel it rushing through my veins. Your love's the only drug I know. But we've been playing the hand now we're dead, but we can light it up. I know that we can make it through the night, but I can feel the fire inside, so there won't be nothing tonight. I myself. I'm cold steel stainless. My glass half full. Always said don't suffer no fools. Serpents, daydream. I bite, you call me lovely. Got a sweet tooth. I'm gonna get the sugar from you. When they say I'm a machine gun, I take it as a compliment. Honey, you should know I can be a weapon. I can be a weapon. Would you lie across the sand? Many miles I took to make it. Tell me, is it left to try? Where do we run? Where do we run? Where do we run?
Welcome back. Once again, we've got some interesting news for you while you've been gone. 1&E Esports has qualified in the lower brackets. They've dropped down because of their previous disqualification, but they have had Squirrel, their sub, come in just in the nick of time, and he's been having a ripper of a game so far. He is absolutely smashing it out of the park. They've just won their previous series and have come up here now to our losers final bracket, and we now have 1&E versus Carball. We're gonna have some great Carball.
Yeah, this is going to be a very exciting situation. And what a crazy story from Squirrel as well. Off of the plane at the airport, gets the message, hey, by the way, you know, Misty is unable to play. How fast can you get to a computer? Can you get in within 20 minutes? Are you able to play? And I don't know what he paid that taxi driver or whoever got him home in time, but here we are. He gets back in place, going in cold into a series do or die, and actually looked really good. We got to watch some of that series, you know, while waiting for this one. And 1&E, they are back in form. They got through with a quite comfortable 3-1 victory. Carball, they like to kind of break teams out of that comfort zone. However, this series is going to be an absolute treat.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. We saw Carball really come in with a different style that throws off some of these bigger teams, and they came in slow-ish and really vamped up. I feel like they are a team that is capable of just accelerating to their opponents, no matter who they are. Basically, they're gonna take some time to adjust, is my prediction. Might see 1&E take first game very strongly, but I think Carball is going to just take that time to learn 1&E's play style, combat that, and throw them out of their comfort zone too. So we may see a Carball victory again here, but this is our last round before finals. This is the last qualification that you can get here, and it is big news for these teams.
Yep, as we one quick last look at that lineup: Squirrel, Ravora, and Gone on the 1&E side, Alexandre, Ultralight, and Haru over there on Carball. And going back to your point before, though, what makes the series so dangerous for 1&E right now is the fact that, like, as you're saying, 1&E likes to come on hot, but then they sometimes cool off. And Carball, they kind of started off a bit cold, but then they got hotter and hotter. And dare we say reverse sweep again? I don't know, but Squirrel off of that kickoff is going to find a very quick goal, and this is what we mean. This player is wily, this player is fast, and somehow he is hot after his plane flight, already putting his team on top.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's an interesting mentality that you would have being Squirrel right now. He's come into this with little to no expectation on him, and I feel like that's going to free him up a bit to just do what he wants to do on field, be himself, and not be under so much pressure. And hopefully he can use that to show us some interesting stuff. But right now, it's in possession of Carball. Revoir changing that quite quickly. Squirrel gets the center. Haru chasing that off ceiling. He's out of boost though, gone now. Ultralight, downfield, well downfield. Squirrel will turn on this, and bang, straight upfield. That's actually a very good shot. Haru's gonna have to go up for a save.
Yeah, Squirrel, he's continuing to put so many fantastic touches on the ball. Again, something that carried over from that loser semifinal that unfortunately was off stream, but Squirrel has almost been carrying this team right now, and it's been a phenomenal performance. Definitely trying to will one NE into that last spot. Ultralight going to steal the ball away right now, and this is the kind of style of play that Carball was able to survive before, but they are unable to match Squirrel's speed as he finds yet another quick one.
Fantastic setup by Gon too. He absolutely knew that that was a pass. He did not try to follow that. He was rotating back. Squirrel had the confidence that his team was doing the right thing, was able to smash that down the goal, and they get quite an easy one out of that. Once again, very similar to our last series with Carball though so far.
Yeah, very, very similar at this stage. And again, Carball, at that first series, they looked, you know, outpaced, outmatched, and I was thinking, okay, 3-0, but then Carball just turned it on. So I think I need to stop making assumptions after game one in any of these series, because it's another trend of the Asian League where game one, kind of both teams never really show what they're entirely about, unless of course you are one NE, in which case it's more towards the end that things tend to fall apart, at least in the past. Kind of hoping we see something different, because I still want to see this team play a complete series. I have been unable to. Everyone tells me that they're able to do it, and this would be the time to step up with that last qualifying spot on the line. It's either now or never, essentially, as Gon tries to find yet another goal. Alexander just enough to make the save.
Shepherded upfield by his teammate as well. It was a good opportunity, and one demo out of it, but wasn't enough to open that goal up for the shot easy. And now Revoir trying to chase this out of his own half again. Gone now. Good pass to Revoir. He's up still looking for the backboard, but it's going to bounce off ceiling, go very low.
Yeah, very, very low indeed, and that's exactly where it feels like Carball wants it. Still unable to break those offensive rotations. Perhaps with a cheeky pass to himself, Alexandre may be able to find it, but Gon steals the ball away before the flip reset actually flips in and of itself. Also on that blue side of the pitch, pressure coming from Carball. It's going to try to get to the box, but Gon able to make another great defensive read. And while Squirrel has been looking fantastic on offense, Gon actually has been putting on those great defensive touches, but he won't be there to stop that one as Haru makes it a 2-1 game.
Right as you mentioned, how good Squirrel's being. Big defensive whiff. Unfortunate, and that's going to be a goal. A fairly decent one from Carball too. It was a great clear and just followed well. Just tapped in at the end, and it's exactly what they needed to get some momentum started for Carball.
Yeah, and we've seen what this team can do with the momentum from before. They can take it and run away with it right now. Haru trying to play through the wall. Rip Poopy, though, already in the position to try to shut it down. A little bit of an awkward toss from Alexandre, but it will still be caught by Ultralight. Haru looking for his chance to get that strike, but Rapupi again able to steal this one away. Haru will go up, trying to pass it to Ultralight, but it's intercepted yet again by Gon, who has still been putting on those fantastic defensive touches. Squirrel, on the other hand, hasn't had those same fantastic defensive touches. He definitely seems to be more in a striking mindset today for this final series.
It's going to go out to Revoir here. He'll pick this up, send it downfield. Squirrel is waiting, but Haru is up early. Ultralight now rotating back as Alexandre takes control. Revoir gets a good 50 off that, but it will center off Ultralight. Good tap back down, Gone now. Gonna send that out to midfield. He's trying to follow, but he has zero boost.
Oh, no.
He's gonna bump Revoir out of the touch. Just not good communication by one knee there.
One NE kind of, would want that one back. Fortunately for this blue side, they're not punished in that instant. Squirrel, another awkward touch, and Haru just waiting underneath, but doesn't like the look. Instead gets called off, and as Ultralight wants to make the play happen. One defender missed, and that opens the door for the second shot as Haru bangs it through. We are tied with just under a minute to go.
Not looking so much like the first game of last series with Carball anymore. Now they're coming in early on this game, and less than a minute to go. There is an even scoreboard now, and I can't predict what's going to happen here. 1NE does seem to be feeling the pressure.
Well, at the pace we're going at right now, you'd have to think next goal, be it in regulation or overtime, probably takes this opening game. Alexandre tries to pass it back to Haru, but he pushed a little bit too far forward, so it's a triple commit to push the ball forward. However, 1NE, they're not really feeling confident enough to step up and challenge while that ball seems to be on the orange side of the pitch sometimes. And all that does is give your opponents more opportunities. Squirrel playing off of the fake right now, gets a bit of a pinch off Alexandre, but no one's pushing forward. No one's trying to stop the returning clear. They're more concerned about letting that counterattack goal punish them at this stage. And while that could be good for playing for overtime, it won't win you the game in regulation, or will it? Gone going for a solo play. Oh no, open net!
Alexander! Oh, Squirrel just barely making a very key save there. 10 seconds left on the clock. That very probably would have been over. Gone now, trying to pass that back down to Squirrel. Squirrel, very light touch on that. Now Ultralight can run away with it. Squirrel up just to contest that. Now Revoir, and then we go to overtime in game 1.
What a crazy game we are seeing right now at this stage. Just past that first regulation. Gone going to be pushing that ball forward. Rapupi going up for the shot. Can't quite find it. Squirrel going up as well. Pushes the ball forward. Alexandre clearing it right on back. Gone. What can he do? Well, he's going to try and clear it as well. Very much a bit of high ball ping pong. And eventually there is a miss on the orange side that could open the floodgates for Rapupi. Another awkward miss, unfortunately, and that will slow this attack.
It's going to come off backboard. Good opportunity for Rapupi. There we go. 31 seconds into our overtime, and 1NE has taken game 1. Now, interestingly enough, if Carbol had taken this, was going to say it might not be such a bad thing, because 1NE Esports, every time they come to finals, has had a history, at least when we're casting together formal, of choking and getting reverse swept. They wouldn't have been able to do that, but now it's a possibility because 1NE has taken game 1.
We'll see where we go from here. There's still a lot of Rocket League to be played. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I curse this team or what, but every time I cast 1NE, like, they just seem to have the worst run of sort of circumstances. I don't want to use the luck word because I don't believe in Rocket League. That can be debated after what's happened today, however. I do digress, though. I don't want to take anything away from how 1NE looks right now and how well Squirrel is playing. Yeah, defensively, he struggled a bit, but some of his offensive plays, some of those offensive strikes, and the fact that he's willing to jump up there and challenge everything tells me he's feeling hot and he is feeling himself right now. Most shots on the team, obviously the most skills as well, looking great. But the MVP for me was, ironically, the MVP of that game as well. Gone. On defense, so many great defensive touches, 3 assists for the 3 goals. Gone is playing out of his mind right now. He does not want to let this opportunity to qualify through that main event slip through his fingers, and he is showing it so far after the first game.
Interestingly enough, on Kabul, Haru was the star player, and he's probably the guy that we know the best, but Alexandre has been the star for them in the last series, and Haru, well, I mean, he was pulling his weight, but by no means was he the player to watch, and it's really interesting to see Haru now coming up and really taking a big part in the team, and if the other players do as well as they did last series, we've got a very interesting game on our hands.
I think we definitely do. Ooh, 1NE almost put themselves in a scary situation as everyone pushes forward. Squirrel using all of his boost to get to that ball, but fortunately he does turn it into a banging clear across the center of the pitch. Gone, an uncharacteristic miss actually might open the door for Ultralight. Able to get through the corner. Demo is there. No bump onto Squirrel. Does slow the attack, at least for now.
Squirrel needed to make that touch. There was a lot of danger on 1NE there. They do not want to lose the first goal here and that advantage into this game. Big demo and gone. Haru now will have control. Squirrel up early. It's a good challenge. He's now under that. He's going to take a shot himself, but it's left of goal and very weak.
Oh,
Haru.
what a pass. This could be very dangerous
play.
right now. Good touch. It's a setup for Ultralight, but Squirrel was able to make that read, get in his face, and I think that pressure did disrupt the shot. Pass to Squirrel as well, and when he's striking, he's normally so good. Unfortunately, that one's going to be a little bit wide to the right.
You have to give him credit though, very tough shot to make that redirect, especially under pressure. It was extremely close. I'd like to see more of that out of this 1NE team. Squirrel now, gonna try again, going to backboard, but Haru gonna take that away. Carry it downfield, looking for another touch, but Gon will beat him to it. Ultralight now, under Gon. Revoir, upfield. Alexandre, up out of goal. He's gonna put that to his own backboard. Revoir, good chance for center, but Squirrel is not ready for where that ends up.
Ultralight was trying to be really cheeky with a very, very sort of late push right there, and it almost turned into a counterattack goal against Carball. They have to be cautious about when they pick their moments, but I like the fact that they're sort of looking for these almost cheat-like plays right now. Good little catch by Alexander. It does stop the initial attack from Gone, and now should be able to try push forward. Rapupi there doesn't make the best read, but here comes Squirrel again, just flying through, and that's something that Carball always has to be wary of. Squirrel just likes taking these shots.
Alexandre, good save there. Ultralight gonna clear out Squirrel to backboard. Alexandre gonna come off ceiling there. It's a good clear and only one man back.
Oh.
He barely gets a good touch on that. Revoir. We'll send that to safety in the corner and just try and bait out Alexandre.
Alexander,
Not gonna work right now. That's a good pass.
Oh, no!
Oh, missed opportunity.
You can't afford to miss these opportunities, not in a series of this importance, and not when you're holding the score to a 0-0 against the likes of 1NE. Carball definitely is going to be regretting that play before, and now back on defense, though. This is where the team does look most comfortable, but 1NE, they've been able to have put together some pretty nice sustained attacks. It's been unable to finish. Ooh, an awkward whiff right there. Fortunately, a double commit does get the ball into the corner. It's a semi-open net. If Haru can make magic happen, it's unable to break the defenders, at least initially, and Rapupi finds the clear.
Revoir gonna chase this now. Awkward bounce. He can't read that Squirrel with another miss. What's happening there? Gone now, can't reach that. Alexandre with a shot, and their first goal with only 1 minute 43 left is going to be Carball's.
There are so many similarities between this series and what we saw previously with Carball, and a 1-0 scoreline would be kind of fitting that exact same Carball narrative right now. They're just able to withstand this constant pressure from 1NE and take advantage of the limited opportunities that they do create for themselves. Haru, in particular, when it matters most, he just has been able to come through sometimes. Granted, this one, it was more the assist. It was actually Alexandre who bursted it through, and Alexandre in this game actually as well has just been absolutely phenomenal. Most touches on the team by far, and he has been really keeping them involved in this one. And again, another beautiful pass coming out of Alexandre to set up Haru. It's going to come off the backboard, at least it would, if Rapupi didn't make the save.
Fantastic pass out from Squirrel. Gone now, looking for the backboard. There it is! What a cross-field play! Unbelievable defense. Just smashed out a pass by Squirrel, and Gone. Good communication up and off the backboard and in. What a shot.
Yeah, let's look, and I'm going to say this very earnestly, ignoring the fact that there was no defenders at that instance because of how fast the play actually was, that is still an incredibly difficult goal right there by Gone, and he made it look so easy. Phenomenal double touch play, but Rapupi wants to get a play of his own, went for the reset, is just unable to finish in this instance.
Squirrel now, he's fast up, but a little bit dangerous. Haru can't pass to Alexandre. Gone downfield. Revoir is up for the pass, but he can't quite make it. The angle he jumped off that wall. Squirrel now in a bad position. He's got to get a good touch on this ball. Alexandre should be able to take control here.
Alexandre is able to push it down the pitch right now. Squirrel tries to get it past Ultralight, but is unable to in the first attempt. Attempt number 2. This time he gets over the top, and Alexandre will be waiting. What is Rapupi doing? Why is Rapupi just sitting in the goal? I am worried we might. It's a rule 1.
We've got a rule 1.
We have a rule 1 in a
And
game.
they're holding to it.
Oh my goodness. This is very scary right now. Why are they holding to it? That ball's in such a dangerous spot. It's with Haru as well. I cannot believe this. We are 10 seconds away from overtime, and we are holding rule 1 in the goal.
I'd like to point out here that these players are playing for $1,000 guaranteed, because just by getting to the finals, you are guaranteed $1,000, even if you come dead last. They just held to a rule 1 for $1,000.
You know what? Rules are rules, all right? We don't break rules, not here, as pressure going to be coming down the pitch. Haru with the demo. Ball in front of the box, but no one's going to be there for the shot. Gone deep clear. Ultralight doesn't make the play into the corner that he would like. Rapupi now going to try and set up just above the goal. Everyone's going up for it, but the double commit from the defense makes the save.
Squirrel now. Good touch. Gonna come down. It's gone to Ultralight. He can't read it on the wall though.
Shot.
Rapupi can't quite get that in goal. Haru now. Good touch by Gone up the Squirrel. It's a shot to backboard. Ultralight downfield. Revoir. Good pass in. Haru there. Almost taken out by Squirrel. It would have been a goal if he had gone downfield. Alexandre gonna push that out to mid.
You know, it was saves like that from Haru that, you know, kind of affirms why maybe 1NE was content to keep Haru stuck in that rule 1. Rapupi now with the ball, trying to push it forward. Ultralight, an even better touch, actually going to be trying to drop it back into that box. Gone, a good pass by Rapupi, unable to catch it. Alexandre will be the one challenging Gone, but Gone's able to dunk it over the top. Unfortunately, lost a bit of control on the car. Still, it's Squirrel following through, shot a bit too high.
Wow, good pass. Gon can't make contact. Squirrel now to wall. He's going to chase that himself. Bit of a miss. Alexandre downfield. He's now got control. Revoir and Gon have to make use of both of their cars to clear that out, but do make a good job of it in the end.
What a tense game right now. This is kind of going to be, I feel like, a series-defining overtime at this stage, just because situations like this. Ultralight collects the pass and scores the goal, and that is a critical victory for Carball.
Alexandre, great speed and a fantastic pass. Gon tried to read it high, and Ultralight just had the intelligence to put that down and take it across the ground into goal. Fantastic play to win that game.
Fantastic showing from Carball to win this one in overtime. No reverse sweep today. I guess we can throw that monkey off the back in some fashion, but 1NE, I think they still would have been a bit more comfortable with that 2-0 lead. Carball, they start off slow, but then they creep up on you. A 1-game victory here, you know, a bit more aggressive on offense there in the next game. And 1NE, if they don't have this answer, Alexandre right now in that game in particular, 5 saves. His defense was amazing, right up there with Ghana as well in game number 1. And these two players are trying to put their teams on their back, it feels like.
Yeah, it's a hard one to call. I mean, we saw Carball do exactly this last series. They crept in with that second win and just kept improving from that point. I don't know if they can do it again. They're already playing at kind of the limit that we saw them at last series. I don't know if they can push further than that, but they might have to if 1NE can really rise to the top of their game as well. It's going to be an interesting next match or two, and we may even see a Game 5 out of this yet.
We may see that Game 5. Oh, how crazy would it be if we do? But we still have to see Games 3 and 4 first before we get there. And momentum back on that Carball side. I've been critical of 1NE in the past, and when they lose momentum, they really struggle trying to find it back. And those types of overtime losses, those are the painful ones. Those are the ones that sting more than your 6-0 losses or you're getting Braziled at times. A lot of pressure is going to be on 1NE, and I hope to see them establish an early attacking pressure in this. I want to see them win that kickoff, and even if they don't score, at least get the first couple shots in, because that will tell me and probably tell the team as well that, you know what, we can still control the tempo of this game, and we can still control our own destiny.
Looking like Carball is making a sub here. Not sure who's swapped out yet. I'll let you know, but Akin is coming in and replacing Haru, so interesting decision on the side of Carball. We'll have to see how that goes, because Carball's momentum building up seemed to be a key factor in their last series. Throwing out that player and adding another one may slow that momentum down.
It may, but it also might ignite that team to continue where they were before. Haru, I wasn't looking at internets. I'm curious if it was an internet issue or just was a case that his shots weren't quite landing where he wanted and is going to put the trust in his teammate. It's very unique to see a sub like this in a situation like this, and straight off the bat, a goal for Squirrel, and that makes you question these kinds of subs even more.
Yeah, really nice placement from Squirrel there. He just read Ultralight being out of position just that tiny amount. I mean, he still got to it. He couldn't do anything about that shot. It's a good kickoff goal, and 1NE needs to keep that if they want to make this game not too difficult for themselves.
Exactly, but this was what I was looking for out of 1NE, to kind of say, you know what, no, we have not lost momentum. We're not going to let that overtime loss affect us. We're going to take this series right back into our grasp. And pressure being put on again by 1NE, trying to accelerate this lead. Unfortunately, Squirrel does lose possession. Alexandre pushing underneath, gets past Gone as well. Rapupi, though, able to get the clear, and you can see Akin was actually pushed very far forward as well as Ultralight, so it was kind of a double commit on the cheat, and that gives momentum right back to 1NE. Oh no, but they push forward as well.
Squirrel, tricked by the shot to the backboard, and Akin's able to put that away.
It's interesting. Both teams made the exact same mistake back to back. They each overcommitted, and Alexandre does bait out Squirrel to commit on that first shot, gets it off the backboard, and Akin is able to knock it through. Now, I do believe Alexandre probably should have been able to score that goal on his own, but that's okay. That's why teammates are there, and already Akin, this sub, okay. That early kickoff wasn't necessarily his fault, but that goal definitely is a credit to him, and this sub now is paying off.
Alexandre is going to send that high. Gone, Squirrel, double committing on that. Revoir chooses not to go up. He's going to give Carball a little bit of time here. Revoir goes to ground as Ultralight goes up. Good shot, Gone makes the save. That is a miracle save.
That was a fantastic save. Akin now trying to push forward as well. Rapupi carrying it through the corner. Squirrel's going to go up for it, but cannot get a good touch. Rapupi kind of got in his way, and awkward defense breaking down. Bump onto Gone. Doesn't open the door. It wasn't really a bump enough, it appeared, either way, but that bump's going to affect the play. Ball gets absolutely launched. Alexandre there to catch it, but so is Gone, and he keeps the momentum going for 1NE.
Squirrel. Ooh, looking for that redirect again. Squirrel's been trying for a lot of those. Arkin now going to send that downfield. Gone and Squirrel both available for this. Should not be a goal. It's going to get absolutely flogged back up that field. Now, on the orange side of control, Gone now. Gets a pass Alexandre, but gets bumped in the process. Arkin now. Alexandre's up, looks for the double touch. Squirrel barely gets in the way of it. It was definitely going to be a goal.
It was going to be, but Squirrel with a very clutch save, and something that we haven't seen from him too much yet is that defensive effort, but definitely coming through in a timely manner when the team needed him the most in this instance. Now Gone, going to try and push some pressure himself. It was a bit of a weak flick, an easy read by the defense, but it does commit 2 out of the box, and Akin is not able to corral the ball in a really efficient manner, so more attacks coming from 1NE, at least until Ultralight right there was able to completely bash it down to the blue side of the pitch.
Squirrel with 0 boost, can't follow that. He's not rotating back. Revoir now gonna touch that. Ultralight has a good opportunity. Can't get the angle, unfortunately, but Squirrel is there to put that into the corner. Arkin now can't make a play. Revoir gets a pass Alexandre.
What's the deep? Ultralight, very, very clutch play right there, and he's turning into a pass. He's turning into an opportunity. Unfortunately, the shot not quite going to hit its mark, and Carball, again, they are such a smart team, but they might not mechanically be there. Alexandre able to make the save, and Squirrel cannot find the way underneath. Akin able to stop Rapupi, and Gone, the third man. He doesn't want anything to do with another attack. He's racing back on defense. Can't corner the ball.
Yeah, it's good to see Gone with that awareness. They have had a few slip-ups, and it may be a better case of safe than sorry there. But they are going to need to open up a goal here at some point still as well.
Yeah, they definitely need to try and open something up. Oh, not going to be in this instance. Squirrel playing through the corner. Ultralight going up for it. They went for a pinch. Doesn't really pinch that hard. Rapupi trying to hold the ball at the middle of the field. Squirrel beating out one defender, but cannot recover in time to push it forward. That's a really open net. Fortunately, that ball not quite on target if you're a fan of 1NE, but it's a scary situation nonetheless.
Good touch by Alexandre, but Gone is right under where that ball's gonna land. Scoops it up. Revoir can't go. Squirrel can though. Gonna send it to that corner. It's empty of players. Alexandre picks up the boost and follows it out. He's gonna carry it high. Gone needs to get up early. Does get it just in time.
Oh, I thought we were going to see magic right there. Instead, it could be magic going the other way. Alexandre just barely able to stop out Squirrel. Now pushing forward himself. A beautiful touch off that top crossbar. Akin is there, but he's not looking for the shot. He's looking for the pass, and this one Rapupi is able to intercept past the Squirrel. Shot on target. That's going in the net, and 1NE takes a lead with 35 seconds to go.
Fantastic touch from Squirrel. I mean, it was a huge bang from Revoir. Squirrel had to be up above that ball to get the angle, and it was a hard one to chase at that speed, so he did well to get to it.
That was a beautiful play from 1NE. The speed definitely on display, as you were saying. And now with a 1-goal lead and 30 seconds to go, once again, they can be finding themselves on a main event qualifying point. It will be the 5th time they will be in that position if they can hold on.
Revoir up, beaten by Ultralight. Gone. Down to Arkin. Arkin has control. Squirrel now. Ultralight demoed. Opportunity here. Alexandre sends that well out mid. Revoir leaving that for Gone. It's going to sit in mid, and we may have a winner for this game. We do, as it gets sent straight down. Squirrel earning the man of the match for that one, and what a beautiful goal to do it as well.
Yeah, I mean, Squirrel, absolutely. 2 goals to his name. The 2 goals, 1 NE needed. That 1 goal with 30 seconds remaining was huge for this 1 NE Sports side. I mean, besides getting themselves, again, 5th time they've been at match point. They'll have a 6th time as well in case they're unable to capitalize in this situation. But ball once again on their side of the pitch in regards to they need to drill one more game. They've had so many opportunities to qualify. They cannot afford to let one more slip up. For Carball, backs against the wall. We haven't really seen them in this situation yet. Even before in stream, you know, it was like, okay, they sort of lost one game and then won the 3. If you look back at their past, every time they sort of lost a game, they immediately bounced back, but they usually actually won that first game in those situations. As come we saw those go to game 5. My point is Carball, they can't afford any more slip ups. They have to play perfect from here until the very end, and sometimes they do slip up. It feels like they have those sluggish starts. Well, that can't be an excuse anymore. We're well and truly into this series. Carball, they need to turn it on right now.
And speaking of Carball, they actually did fantastically that game. They may not have gotten out the win, but they pushed back and got a lot of aggression straight back at 1NE. Every time 1NE made the smallest mistake, unfortunately there were some much bigger mistakes from 1NE. They weren't able to capitalize on that game, but there's nothing holding Carball out of this right now. They are meeting 1NE and matching them touch for touch right now. They actually had more shots on goal that game by 1.
By 1, man. This one is going straight into 1NE. Not even 5 seconds into this game, and 1NE has that 1 goal lead again. They take this game, they qualify, and now all they have to do is hold on for just pretty much 5 minutes.
Gone. Fantastic speed to get to that as well. There were defenders around, but his awareness of the situation helped him be in the right spot there. Revoir looking for a little bit of fun with that, but I didn't have the boost for it. Squirrel, great touch, almost a goal actually. Gon's gonna go up, but not at the angle he needs for a good touch there. Revoir out to Squirrel. Squirrel will get a decent touch, but that'll get read by Ultralight and back out for Gon. Arkin off the corner. Revoir, big shot. Ultralight barely getting a touch on that.
Oh, but it was a very desperate touch nonetheless. Let's see if, you know, Carball can turn it back into the favor. All sides are pointing to no. 1NE, they're coming at this tournament qualifying game so aggressively. Shots like that, case in point, Rapupi just slamming it straight down the middle after a beautiful setup from Gon. A bit of hesitation from Alexandre and how he wanted to approach that clear, and that's what opened up the door. 1NE, 2-goal lead. This is looking very good for this org.
I probably shouldn't be surprised by what I just saw, but with the amount of shots that were put on Carball just a moment ago, I kind of am. Didn't expect something to go in that fast, and with seemingly a lack of effort, Gone out of boost, can't make the shot.
Yeah, and 1NE, I mean, they're not letting up right now. They're continuing to push forward. They're continuing to try and grow this lead. And this is the exact edge that had been lacking from 1NE every other time they have found themselves in this position so far. Again, reminder, they have been in now 5 games where it's win, you qualify for that main event. But this is the first time I've really seen them racing to try and get it, although sometimes that can backfire if the ball does get behind them. Here comes Carball. Do they start to mount their comeback now?
Little bit of a bump on Rapupi won't slow him down. Does lose that 50, but it goes to corner. Fairly safe. Alexandre can't make a touch. It will go to backboard, but Ultralight down. Squirrel now. Good pass. Big demo. Arkin just beats Rapupi, but there's the shot from Gon. 3-0 to 1NE Esports. They are coming in strong in this game.
And I think everyone across that 1NE fan base are starting to relax a little bit as the score continues to climb, as the aggression continues to mount. They are giving nothing for Carball to work with. Yeah, okay, we saw them kind of break away once, but even then, Carball was not fast enough to take advantage of that breakaway. 1NE are playing with a level of determination that we haven't seen yet in a sort of tournament qualifying point just yet, and I am so impressed by them right now. And again, you have to remember, Squirrel just got off a plane to sub in, and he's still able to match his team's sort of velocity and eagerness to knock this one home. This is absolutely fantastic for 1NE at this stage of the game.
Revoir, good touch just to keep that safe. Squirrel's gonna opt for ball control over a big booming shot. It's working out for him so far. Big bump! I think that was Alexandre, but absolutely sent away from that ball, but no control for 1NE just yet. Squirrel now, good opportunity. It's going to come off and look for a pass, but Arkin sends it well out to midfield. Now, 1NE in a bit of a tough position. Ooh, very lucky for them.
Yeah, Al, I mean, you can say it's luck, but there were enough players in that box right there to make that shot that difficult, and it kind of forced a really, really low percentage shot out of Carball. And this is monumental because with only 2 minutes remaining, these opportunities are going to be so few and far between, especially if 1NE continues to play, you know, that far corner of the pitch where they have been so comfortable in this match alone. I don't see enough opportunities really for Carball unless they sink every single shot given to them from here until the end, and even then it might not even be enough because 1NE are playing that suffocating on offense. Although those commits do open the door for plays, Alexandre tries to slow play it and does get beat.
50-50 does go to them, but it's too slow to get there while they still had that open net. Squirrel now, good touch out to midfield, nobody able to go for it. He can follow it himself though. Alexandre in the opposite corner. Gonna get a 50-50 out of that and demo Squirrel. Gone now. Good pass out to center. Alexandre on that, looking for the dribble again. Passed into Revoir. Downfield, Squirrel now looking for an early center. Alexandre reads it well.
This is so interesting to me because you know Carball is feeling the pressure, feeling the nerves, and they're relying on individual plays when it matters the most, and 1NE have been able to read and stop every single one by just keeping one man back on defense and having the other two press forward. Gone nearly makes it happen. Squirrel doesn't quite have the height to save that. The boost was just not there. My point still stands though. I am loving this approach from 1NE, and as long as they continue to stop these solo plays, they are going to cruise into that main event. Only 37 seconds left.
Yeah, they've made it very tough for Carball now. Squirrel down, Alexandre will be there. He's got 30 seconds left to make a play happen. It's up, Arkin's there, good shot, gone. Andrew Poopy there, the bump didn't come out in time.
Bump was not in time, and neither is time in favor for Carball. 15 seconds, 3-goal lead. I think it's time we call it 1NE. It took 5 attempts, but they finally get through, although Ultralight did just get a cheeky little goal.
Taking one for the road. But yeah, great touch from Ultralight, and Revoir just backflipping on that right before goal, unfortunately. But 3-1 with 8 seconds left, you have to assume that that's going to be over for Carball. It's going to come off the backboard. Alexandre looking for one more. Revoir with a huge clear. 1 second left. If that touches ground, this is over without any more goals. They might take one. They do. It's now 3-2 on 0. Carball has done very well to fight something back.
They have, but at the end of the day, it is not going to be enough. And for 1NE, they finally fight their way through. Look, Emolga is not a water type, but squirrels can fly, and they do punch their way through to that main event off the back of the last possible moment sub. An absolutely amazing story, and for 1NE, they get that 8th seed. Congratulations to them, and I'm excited to see how they perform in the future of the kickoff.
Yeah, it was a tough road to get here for them. They had definitely some issues along the way, but you have to give a huge shout out for Squirrel for even being willing to step off that plane straight into a game. And really, really big congratulations to him. He's in that team. He is doing his bit, and he has just gotten them into the finals. He has guaranteed them a cut of the $44,500 winnings across both Asia and the Middle East, and we have one more day for you for Asia, one more for Middle East. Do not miss next weekend. It is going to be absolutely enormous.
Yeah, next weekend is going to be an absolute blast, as I think we're going to bring up our groups now to sort of take a look at what these upcoming days will look like. I unfortunately can't see it until the graphic comes up in and of itself, but
I can take that for you.
Keen. Oh, you can take it? All right.
Yeah,
you did.
I've got that right here. Group A has qualified early. They are IXA or IXA, IRA, Hanagumi, Zephyrs was the last one to qualify for Group A. Now we have our Group B set because of this win by 1NE, so they will go in against Velfire on next Sunday. The other two teams qualifying for Group B is Oryx and Ooga Booga has their work cut out for them against Oryx.
Yeah, and you could say the same thing about 1NE, who will have their work cut out for them against, I believe it'll be Zoomer Remover, if I'm correct, or did that change? Velfire. Okay, so they did get picked up by team, but that's that same lineup, right? We're looking at Realize, and we're looking like, oh, I don't want to play against that, because Realize is an absolute beast. Obviously, you know, there's still going to be a lot of questions in the future that have yet to be answered. You know, who will step up on the day? Who will make those deep runs? Is Japan better than the rest of Asia? Is Asia better than the rest of Japan? How will that play out? I mean, so many questions that we need to sort of figure out as we move forward.
Yep. But for today, that's all we've got. And man, what we had was great. I really hope you enjoyed the offerings from Asia so far. We do have that one day left. It is going to be the biggest day and the most on the line. This is huge, and all of Asia is pulling it together to show the world what we've got. You guys in chat, you're doing your bit too, so stick around and see us again next Sunday. But until then, this has been Max and I absolutely loving our jobs. We will see you next time.